Going live.
Are we?
We're going live. We're live.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. I mean, it's 1:45. It's time to go live.
Fair. I'm pleased you didn't do that, a minute and a half earlier then.
I was not foolish. I was aware that you were unprepared.
I was grabbing some water.
Yes.
Good afternoon, one and all.
Yes. Hello. Welcome, one and all. Yeah.
Oh, hi there. Didn't see you walk in.
Now get the hell out of my house. Good.
Oh, did you lock the door?
You did.
No, I didn't.
Didn't you?
That's why I'm asking.
No,
Very
the
well.
door is locked.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't.
You did.
Did not. I had items in my hands. I could not lock it.
You must have gone back and locked it. I'm going to go there and poke it because I'm going to make sure you're not gas lamping me.
Gas lamping you?
Yeah, that's what the term is. Gas lamping.
Lighting?
No.
Gaslight?
Gas lamp. I'm so funny.
I think it would be more believable if you were a more reliable source.
Yes. That's Gramore. Yeah. Oh my god. I keep kicking this computer under the desk.
Why is it even here?
Because I've got to finish fixing it. Okay.
Do you know what you're doing?
Yes.
With it?
Yes.
Good.
I'm kicking it and killing the hard drive in it, I think, but yeah. Anyway.
File copy it. 3.2 files per hour.
Yeah, I'm copying stuff from app data and it's doing something. I don't know.
Why would you copy the app data folder?
It's a Windows reinstall. So I'm just trying. Originally, I went into app data just to restore like Firefox and Chrome profiles. However, I was just like, I'm just going to Control A and copy this across just so it grabs other apps.
Sorry, Scotty Doggy's comment caught me.
Gas lamping implies being twatted over the head with a brass lamp. Okay. Windows 7 chime? No, Windows 10 chime. This laptop is on Windows 10 and I'm going to do a Windows 11 update to it. Ooh, I can remember this password. I can remember this password? Oh, wait. Yes, there we go. Good. But yes, however, it has come up from Windows 7, but it is now on Windows 10, so... no. If it's had an upgrade from Windows 7, does it retain the Windows 7 sign-in noise?
As far as I'm aware, the Windows 10 one was the same if you manually enabled it.
Yeah. Does Windows 10 have a sign-in noise? I can't even... I think I'm just deaf to sign-in sounds. If that makes... Well, no, I think it's just... No, I'm not deaf to it, but like now you're making me try and remember what the sign-in noises are. I do not recall. So, yeah. Don't know. Anyway, we all know that the Windows 7 Business sound pack was the best one because the error noise is some trumpets going... And it is the funniest shit, I swear. But anyway. Okay, right, how's that? I need to make sure this is still doing Windows updates because, yeah.
Why? So riddle... I can speak English, I swear. Riddle me this, Mr. Repairman, was what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Why would you migrate a Windows 7 install? Because that install is going to be over a decade old. Why wouldn't you just say you're moving to Windows 11, here's a fresh install of Windows 11 and here's your pictures? I've saved myself 8 hours of time.
You're probably right, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if they're on 10 and it was a
10
new
to 11
and it was a
modern
new
system.
computer 10
Yeah.
to 11, 100% get it. But if it's like an upgrade from 7, they're upgraded to 8, they're upgraded to 10.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just go, here's your brand new install of Windows 11?
Yeah. As Sai says, delete the tech debt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as Francis said, I didn't think of that, quite frankly.
Yeah, fair.
To me, I always image the data across.
Yeah.
So I don't have to deal with the customer not knowing what they had installed or how to install it again.
Yeah.
However, also just there are plenty of instances where the reality is the customer probably doesn't have anything meaningful anyway and wouldn't care if they had to get a clean start.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, it's almost easier to go through the hassle than it is to have that conversation with the customer to see if there is anything that we need to be worried about.
Yeah.
But
I guess
that's born of laziness, not because that's a recommended action. I
guess
don't
also,
like talking to the customer, so I will take the method that requires the least amount of oversight. Can't you just upgrade from 7 to 11 directly? Theoretically, you probably can. However, in the practical sense, if you have a laptop that is old enough to run Windows 7, or old enough to have Windows 7 on it, that's probably not going to run Windows 11. Although, actually, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it depends. I mean, where's... hang on a minute. Laptop in question is... yeah, I mean, someone look up the spec chat, or, well, Caradog, you do this. ProBook 6555B.
ProBook 6555B.
Yeah. What is the spec of this laptop?
Sure. A Phenom 2X2 N620.
I don't know what the Intel equivalent of that is. Like, that's Core 2 Duo, isn't it?
Well, yeah, basically.
I'm not saying it's as fast as a Core 2 Duo, but
no,
period. Yeah. So like that ain't gonna run Windows 11, even Rufus, is it? Yeah.
Well, the fact that it's shipped with a 250 gig hard drive as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, even with a Rufus installer, this laptop physically cannot run 11. So yeah, and I think that is probably the case you're going to have. What are you giggling at?
Or just the fact that it's advertising it comes with Express card and USB 2.
Wow. But yeah,
no, it's going to be older than that then because it's only got USB 2. And didn't call. Wait, when did USB 3 come in? I don't know. Yeah,
but yeah. At any rate, so I think the point is that while theoretically the Windows 11 installer probably could upgrade a Windows 7 install, but any device you have that is old enough to be running Windows 7 isn't physically going to be able to run Windows 11 in all likelihood, unless you've got some weirdo who was just rigidly running Windows 7 to the bitter end, who just for whatever reason wanted to skip 10 and is running Windows 7 on like second or third gen Intel Core, which is like, that's a situation you could theoretically run into, and at that point, yeah, you could probably jump up to 7. Jump from 7 to 11. So yeah, although I think I still wouldn't do it because also if you do that, you probably have a master boot record installation. You've probably got a CSM install of Windows 7, so you're going to have to convert that to GPT beforehand as well, and just Windows 10 becomes a really nice intermediary because Windows 10 kind of works on anything and everything. So you get it onto 10, fix anything that needs to be fixed, and then upgrade it to 11. That's kind of my rationale there. So yeah.
End of support for Windows 7 was January 14th, 2020.
Yeah, I remember it well.
So you could be running Ryzen 3000 on Windows 7.
Not sure. No, there were Windows 7 wouldn't install on some of the newer CPUs.
Yeah, but technically by age.
Yeah, by age. But
and I'm just like, Just to put in perspective how ridiculous a timescale that is for the support window.
Yeah, but also this is the thing. Like, you know,
No.
whenever I talk about Windows 10 having a really long service life, people are just like, "Well, Windows 7 was supported until this age." I'm like, "Yeah, but the last 5 years of Windows 7 existing, it was on life support. It wasn't an operating system that anyone seriously actually used." Okay, maybe not 5 years, but well, no, actually, at least 3 or 4 years. Whereas Windows 10 has reached end of support at a point where it is still extremely relevant. And you know, not getting into the whole should Windows 10 support end argument here, but the fact remains is that Windows 10 is still a relevant operating system. It still works on modern hardware almost flawlessly. And I think
it has not been left behind by modern hardware kind of statement.
Yeah, like the only exceptions to that are when we start talking about you know, asymmetric cores and things like that. And in which case it's a case of but you know, Microsoft could have dropped the new core scheduler into Windows 10. That was not a technical limitation. They just chose not to. So Phenom 2 doesn't support SC 4.2. So yeah. Oh, the latest Windows 11 it can run is 23H2. Okay, so it does actually run an install of Windows 11 then. So,
yes, on the strictest possible sense, yes.
Yeah. You'd have been silly not to have taken the free upgrade to 10 in 2015. While I agree with you, but also that's implying, like, don't forget, Windows 11 came out in 2021. 11 is 4 years old, man. Like, literally, October 21. It's 4 years old this month. What the hell?
But that's why I was saying that Microsoft has to be aggressive with killing off 10.
Yeah.
Because they have to kill off 10, and they have to kill 11 next year, the year after, to give breathing space for 11 to age out for people to move on.
This is the problem, is that we don't actually know anything about Windows 12. So I'm going to engage in this conversation because I just kicked that computer again. I got this close to scrapping my Windows 11 rant video, 5,000 words into the script, because I was reading comments I was reading YouTube comments on both my latest video and just other videos of people just going sort of like, "Oh, 11's still shit, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, I think I should scrap this video. I think I'm talking to a brick wall here. I don't think this video is actually going to... It's not that I need it to achieve... I think this video isn't going to achieve anything. But also, I haven't scrapped it, and I'm actually going to record it this weekend because, A, I still think there's useful information in it, and B, I don't need it to achieve anything. I just want to get a lot of stuff off my chest, to be honest. And I just want, like, I think it's a lot of stuff that people already know, but I want to make sure that everyone knows this stuff. Just so when they're saying that they think Windows 11 is crap, they're at least speaking from a position where they have heard and considered the rationales and arguments, you know. Anyway, what were we saying? Oh, yeah. One of the things that came up that came up in the section that I was writing earlier on today is that I have heard people saying, "Oh, I'm just going to skip over 11 and wait for 12." And now, my argument against that is that this is categorically ahistoric. Windows has never U-turned in its direction, ever. The only possible exception to that rule is bringing back the Start menu, because obviously Windows 8.0 killed the Start menu, then 8.1 brought back a Start screen as a compromise, and then Windows 10 brought back an actual traditional Start menu. However, I think we can all agree that the Metro interface was a very unique situation where the Windows interface had drastically changed, and everyone agreed that it was a bad move.
I still enjoy the adverts and so on, and the consumer testing that was done in America around the Windows 8 user interface. Live machines, people, and it was named a different operating system. It wasn't Microsoft and it wasn't Windows 8, and people said, "I love it." And then they said, "Oh, here's a Windows 8 machine, exactly the same interface," but they were now told it was Microsoft Windows 8, and they said, "No, I hate it."
I think those testers were just objectively wrong.
And I'm just like, I find that interesting that that has been demonstrated with lots of the major feature changes in Windows, that people hate it because it's Microsoft and because it's Windows and because it's a change. But when they're told it's a completely different company and a completely different operating system, they're like, yeah, okay.
Okay, right. I think that's an interesting point, and I want to talk about that, but I'm going to finish my point first, just to finish my train of thought. So anyway, so people saying, I'm going to wait for Windows 12 and skip over 11. This is categorically ahistoric because, as I say, with the exception of the Metro interface, which was just everyone universally agrees that the Metro interface was a failure.
Yeah.
And it was a huge paradigm shift in Windows' interface, which is agreed to have been a failure. Apart from that, when XP came out and binned the classic interface, the next version, Windows Vista, didn't go back to the classic interface. It doubled down with the Aero interface.
Yeah.
When people didn't like Vista and the Aero interface, Windows 7 didn't go back to the Windows XP interface. They doubled down with the Glass Aero 2, whatever you call Windows 7 interface. When now Windows 8 obviously is the exception because Metro was Metro. And 8.1 gave us a start screen, then 10 gave us a start menu. But again, the rest of the 10 interface and the rest of the Windows 10 design principles and philosophies were still built on the foundations of Windows 8 and 8.1.
Yeah.
The next version of Windows has never gone back in time. So people who are saying, I'm waiting for 12, thinking that 12 is going to be different and be what they like and are familiar with, no, you're just wrong. That has never, ever happened.
Yeah. I think it's also the thing, as Sai says, you could skip Vista as 7 was only 2 years later.
Yeah.
You could skip 8 because 10 was only 3 years later. With 11, it's already been 4 years, and there is no mention of there being a replacement.
Yeah, so this is the interesting thing.
So we're going to be a minimum of 5 years.
Well, I mean, unless Microsoft were to stealth drop Windows 12, but also that brings us back to your point about them needing to sunset Windows 11 pretty hecking soon.
Well, because they need to kill 10 and 11 from the public consciousness and make people start going, oh, isn't 11 old?
Yeah, and the problem we've got here is that a lot of people consider Windows 11 to be brand new, because it's only now that Windows 10 is being killed off that many people are even aware of 11 being a thing.
Yeah.
While anyone who's bought a new computer within the past 2 or 3 years has already been on 11 for a while, there is a huge majority of people who think Windows 11 has just come out, basically. And that's the thing is, no, 12 will not save us. 12 will not save you. You still need to upgrade to 11, or do something else, or go to Linux, or whatever you want to do. But staying on 10 still isn't the answer. But yeah, whatever. What was the thing that you were saying again that I wanted to talk about?
Oh, just the consumer A/B testing. There was certainly, certainly with Vista.
Yes.
There was also a very good one with Vista, where they were both called Microsoft as the product release, as the company releasing it, but one was called Longhorn and one was called Vista. And people hated Vista but liked Longhorn, but it was the same thing, just with a different name.
I think that's because I think people. Now I'm not saying this is correct, but I think there is the way that I would analyze that would be to consider, okay, but did they like it because they didn't seriously expect it to replace Windows? They liked it as a separate product that existed that they could choose whether to use or not. But when told that this was going to replace the system that they use day in, day out as a daily driver, that shifts, that changes how you look at something. You know, like for example, when someone says, do you think this is a cool car? And I'm just like, yeah, I think that's a really cool car. It's like, cool, that's what you're going to be driving next year. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I think it's cool, but I don't want that to replace my car. You know, do you see what I mean there? I think that is possibly what's going on. However, it is very interesting that the fact that they did like it before they knew that does show that they didn't dislike it on principle. They didn't dislike it conceptually. They disliked it because it replaced what they already knew. So yeah.
And that's kind of ultimately the point I was kind of making. It's a case of a lot of the complaints are, because it's change, effectively. And it's just kind of...
Yeah. Wasn't Longhorn the developer name before Full Vista release? Yes and no.
No.
Longhorn was actually a separate project. It was going to be an entirely new paradigm shift for Windows. However, it eventually got scrapped and was replaced by Vista. Vista was still codenamed Longhorn in some forms, though, wasn't it? But it is not the Longhorn project.
I think there is a single build that actually self-references itself as Longhorn. That was the Vista preview. That only was the build that was at Microsoft Developer Conference X.
And it probably only does that because they probably hadn't actually come up with the name Vista yet.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so they were calling it Longhorn just simply because that was still the code name for just the next version of Windows.
Yeah.
However, if you're interested in Longhorn, because it does actually have... Longhorn is actually an extremely interesting story to go into. I won't go into it because I'm not mega expert. However, if you search YouTube for Dave's Garage or Dave's Garage, he's the ex-Microsoft developer. He's got lots of videos being like such and such from the perspective of ex-Microsoft developer. He's one of those guys who does that. Firearms expert, whatever, so Dave's Garage, ex-Microsoft developer. Sorry, that's a whole thing on YouTube that annoys me when people just do videos saying...
Sorry, it sounded like it was a sequitur, not a non-sequitur statement of, I'm an ex-Microsoft developer and firearms expert. That's how I became a developer.
There's a trend on YouTube that for people reacting to topics or comment or reviewing a thing, it's always just like, imagine if I started all of my videos with repair specialist reviews the latest laptop kind of thing. I'm just like, I don't know. It bothers me, and I couldn't tell you why. It just bothers me that and it's not. That kind of makes sense if you're a guest on a channel that is covering multiple topics, I guess. But there are certain channels where it's just the same guy, and it's just like, just use your name, man. Whatever.
Jeff.
Yeah. Anyway, Dave's Garage, he has a video where he tells the story about Longhorn and why it was a very different, conceptually different version of Windows, where Explorer was a database and things like that. There's a lot of very interesting ideas, and it was an extremely ambitious system that had interesting ideas, but ultimately, after a lot of development time and money was wasted, they realized they just simply couldn't execute on it. They had something, but they couldn't stick the landing, so it was ultimately scrapped and replaced with Vista.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things where it kept growing, and it kept growing, and it kept growing, and it kept growing, and because it was continuously growing, it never finished. And because it never finished, it's kind of a problem. Feature creep is the death of many projects.
Yeah, scope creep was a massive problem with it. I think Dave sometimes oversells his insider perspective in certain eras, but a handful of his videos are pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not subscribed to him, but I've just watched a handful of his videos, and certainly the ones that I have watched, where he had enough either insider knowledge or was just close enough to the scene that he can tell the story in a coherent manner, I found to be very useful. So
yeah, like actually being there and just kind of saying, this is what we knew.
That's it.
As it was happening.
For example, I think he mentioned that he never actually worked on Longhorn. However, because he worked at Microsoft, he obviously knew what Longhorn actually was.
Yeah.
He was a Microsoft developer, so he knew what Longhorn actually was.
Because I think he was working on NT5 patches and stuff at the time.
Yeah. So yes. Yes. There was also Windows 10X.
Yeah, 10X. 10X
what was,
looked like it was going to be quite a good project.
what was 10X? Because I've heard that term, but I don't know what
it was effectively going to be the Windows that we keep saying really should happen, where it just axed most of the legacy support for stuff.
I see,
it was like,
yeah.
no, this is 32 and 64-bit only. No, this is X date of hardware and newer only. This is mobile device. This is mobile dual screen devices first, kind of thing. And it was lots of all of that kind of just a place to chuck lots of ideas on radically changing everything.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of an environment for that. But the place it was first going to see use was the Microsoft dual screen device.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. And so, ultimately it turning into 11 makes sense. And obviously 11's problem is that it has failed to stick the landing on actually erasing a lot of the tech debt that it had the opportunity to erase.
I think, I think the thing for me is still,
for better or worse,
the most blinding, obvious issue with that is just how broken sound settings still is.
Possibly, yeah.
Because it's the fact of still the only way to do most of the functions you want to actually do with audio devices is to go back to the control panel. You can do it. You can do it all in settings now. However, it's still settings. Settings is still one of those things where, by the way, CB says your videos are very useful and you don't pretend to be an expert. Thank you very much. By the way, just compliment came out in chat, and I just wanted to say thanks. Yes. Settings is one of those things where I want to say it's just not intuitive, and there are bits of it that are not intuitive, and there are bits of it that are mind-blowingly annoying. Like, for example, you open settings and the bottom half of it is taken up with like related links. How do I do X, Y, Z? And like, how do I change my desktop background because you're in the wrong section? And when you click on that, instead of taking you to the spot in settings where you change your desktop background, it opens a browser to the Microsoft website that then tells you how to open settings to that page. Just take me there. What are you doing? So yeah. The other thing I really enjoy is the fact of apparently you're not allowed to change any of your sound
settings. The
settings
volume because we're not activated on this PC. I don't know how this PC is still not activated. I swear I've just mass grave this wretched thing. Maybe not now while we're live.
Because it says it's activated.
Whatever. Anyway.
This PC is just completely confused.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. But also, like, for a lot of things, I think the settings thing is laid out reasonably well, to the extent that for a lot of the times where I'm just like, I don't like this, I'm just like, I'm not sure how I would improve it, to be honest. And most of the time when people are just trying to get to the legacy control panels as fast as possible, that's just simply because they know those very well. They know how it's laid out in those panels. They know exactly where to click in those panels, but they don't in settings. That's why they say that the legacy panels are better, because they're familiar with them.
I think part of the issue, though, is the fact of the legacy panel is also just actually set up better. It doesn't have 3 sets of nested menus. It has some tabs.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get what settings is doing in some of its place, and it does look like a design project better, but it doesn't function better.
Yeah.
Certainly for me, because you seem to have to click into 3 different menus to change settings for one audio device.
Yeah.
And some of those settings for that one audio device still aren't even there.
Yeah. So firstly, I'm Infinite says the legacy panels have more options. Yes, there's an argument to be made that the settings panel doesn't need all of the options for the sake of confusion. But also, I think you'll find that like, if you actually do an A/B comparison, 99% of it is in settings now. Maybe you haven't looked in a while, but a lot of things, if you said, oh, X isn't in settings, check again. because
I know
they've been-
loudness equalization isn't in settings.
Okay, but who uses loudness equalization?
Basically everyone should, though.
Sure, but who does? You
No
know?
idea, but I do,
Yeah.
and it's on the legacy panel, and you can
Okay.
get there in 2 clicks
Okay,
on the
fine.
legacy panel.
Yeah, but yeah,
Or the special sound effects like Sonic that they try to get you to buy through the Microsoft Store. You can't enable through settings, you have to do it through the legacy panel. So you can buy a feature in the Microsoft Store that doesn't work in settings, it only works through the legacy panel.
whack. Okay, I have no idea what Sonic
But
is.
that's what I'm saying, it's kind of dumb little niche cases for
True,
things
but-
that they sell.
Yeah, but also these are niche cases, both of which I have not. Oh, actually, no, it's loudest equalization. Yeah, okay, I know what that is. But
it's also the fact of
whatever.
just, if they sell
you're
it-
immediately reaching for niche edge cases in order to prove the point.
Sure, but there are
Yeah.
also things that I use on every device.
Sure, but like, does Doris down the road know what any of that is?
No,
does
but Doris down
need
the road
access to
can't
that?
access Wi-Fi unless you tell them 6 different ways and say click on the icon 4
so
up from the
how
bottom.
does filling settings with 100 extra things that only a few people need improve Doris's user experience?
They're not
you know.
even going into sound settings in the first place.
Okay, put it under advanced. The answer, as always in this discussion, the answer is advanced options, basically. And that's what settings desperately needs, is an advanced options drop down that puts all the extra stuff in there.
And
However,
also to not have 3 menus for like one device.
However,
and
the
things
thing that
like
I'm trying to get around to explaining is the problem with settings is it's trying to be familiar by having a mobile style interface.
Yeah.
But there are just simply too many settings for full-blown Windows to fit into that design philosophy. This is why Control Panel worked better, because Control Panel's icon layout allowed it to fit in drastically more settings.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I think Control Panel was better.
Yeah.
And personally, if I could snap my fingers, kill settings, and go back to Control Panel, I think that would be an improvement. But that's not the world we live in.
I think both are necessary.
Yeah.
I think settings is needed and should be there for the 100 most common tasks.
Precisely.
And then everything is duplicated in Control Panel, but Control Panel has everything else.
Yeah, and also Control Panel hasn't been tethered in the way that it has these days. Because like, if you actually open Control Panel now, it's completely broken. Half of it doesn't work and just takes you into settings.
Yeah.
And past that as well, like the argument of like, oh, Doris down the street doesn't know how to get into settings. It's like, yeah, but that she needs to be taught to use settings. This is the ongoing issue, and this is the problem that Microsoft and modern UI designers have, is instead of teaching people how to do it, they keep dumbing it down to the lowest common denominator. And surprise, surprise, if you dumb something down to the lowest common denominator, it's not very good. This is why we have related. This is why, related items. This is why we have recent items. This is why we have to search to find anything, because everything has now been dumbed down to the lowest common denominator instead of actually teaching people how to use a goddamn computer. So, yeah, Doris down the road isn't opening settings, but she should be. And if we designed a good settings, maybe she could, because she would go, yes, I want to change a setting, I'll open settings, and it would make sense. But if you fill settings with literally everything, she's going to open it and get hit with a wall of stuff and be like, I don't know what any of that is, and immediately jump ship. So, but again, the solution there is advanced submenu. You have all the basics there, and then you have a drop down or a button that says advanced, and that's where all the tinkerer's tuning tools are.
Yeah.
Because all the power users will just click on advanced.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But it's kind of it's for a different philosophy on that, kind of going the other way, is like the way that the Apple settings menu works. So no individual programs have settings, etc., etc. It's all in the settings menu, and then that sort of tree out from that. So to change a setting in anything, you go to settings, and then there's a list of all of the things, and then you go, oh, I want to change a setting in Safari. So you click on Safari and it gives you Safari settings.
Yeah, possibly. I
that-
don't like modern Apple settings because I think that, like, when you open modern Apple settings, like on an iPhone or whatever, I think there's too much there now. I think there's just too much.
I
hate scrolling through it looking for the thing that I'm actually looking for.
I think that in concept is really good for most people because you just go, you want to change a setting, you go to settings, and the settings are in settings.
It's simple if nothing else. So yeah, I'll give you that.
But I do think it should be broken out into two parts where it's basically like system settings is one place you go to and all of your app settings are another place you go to. But yeah.
You can search Apple settings. Well, this is the problem. I feel like if you have to search the user interface, then the user interface has failed.
Yeah. If you can toggle,
search is the failure condition.
If you can toggle and change the settings straight from search, so like you can search, say you want to turn on Wi-Fi, you can just in the search box go Wi-Fi turn on, and it turns on Wi-Fi. That's fine.
Yeah.
Or you go change DPI, and it goes and pulls straight into the DPI section, and you just change the number, done.
Yeah.
Then I get search.
Yeah. I also really like search interfaces on. I think Windows settings does this. macOS definitely does that. When you search for something, you get the results option for what you, so like, if you type in Wi-Fi, it says go to Wi-Fi settings, but also it highlights where that is in settings. So at the same time, it's going, here's what you're looking for, but also, just so you know, here's where it is in settings. That's really good because it's trying to teach you how to use, how to do the thing that you couldn't do. That's a very good design philosophy, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that search is bad per se. Obviously, it can be a faster way to get to places.
Yeah.
But certainly, search is a crutch that average users stand on, where they don't know where literally anything is. And again, this is a line I've got in this script where I've got, the average user, they don't open Gmail, they type in the Windows search box Google, which comes up with an Edge result for, so it opens Edge to a Bing search for Google, then they click on Google, and then they Google search for Gmail, and then they click on the Google search result, which takes them into gmail.com. That's what users are actually doing, which is mind-blowing. And when you watch, and I've watched someone do that. I've watched someone do that over the counter, just going, oh my God, the amount of extra steps they're going through, where it's just like, no, you just open the browser and you just type in gmail.com and you're there in one step. What are you doing? But that's what search has trained people to do. Search is antithetical to learning how to do something in this context, And I'm not saying that I can solve this problem, but what we've got and the dumbing down isn't solving it, basically, So yeah, I don't know.
I think also some of it that's just mind blowing to me is some of the ways that people think about stuff. It was like I think it's kind of slightly riffed on it, is the fact that someone wanted to send a document to someone. So part of their process of sending that document was going to be printing it, to scan it, to then attach that to an email to send it to the person. I was like, why wouldn't you just attach the document to the email?
Yeah.
You have the document, just attach it to the email.
That's it. And
you don't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
You already know how to attach a document to an email, and you already know that you have the document.
Yeah.
So why don't you just attach the document?
This is the thing.
Why would any other step come up?
I think UI designers, Microsoft and not just Microsoft, but lots of places are guilty of this. They're dumbing things down to make it easier to use, while they're completely missing the fundamental issue that people don't know how to use a computer. Like the number of people that look at me blankly when I say click and drag. Like, if you don't know what dragging means, how, like, no interface can help you if you don't understand what dragging means. You know, that means we need to go back and actually teach you the fundamentals of a computer now. And that's something that no one seems to be, that people aren't getting taught, is the fundamentals of identifying icons on the screen. Like when, on some computers, if an icon moves or it changes color because they updated the design or something, a person just suddenly goes, I don't know where it is anymore. And I'm like, it's right there. And they're like, oh, it used to be on the right. And I'm like, okay, well, now it's there. Like, you're looking for that icon, right? The analogy I always use to people is, if you get a new car and the headlight switch is on the left-hand side of the steering wheel instead of the right hand of the steering wheel, you don't go, I can't drive this car. You go, oh, it's there now. But on a computer, everyone loses their minds. Everyone loses their minds as soon as it's technology, and they go, oh, I'm not a computer expert. I didn't know that. And I'm like, come on, dude, you've got a brain, though. That's the barrier that we need to overcome. That's the actual problem, is overcoming that barrier. And yeah, the dumbing down isn't solving this. And again, this is a point that I'm hitting on, is that in Windows 11, much of the things that annoy people in Windows 11, like the new context menu and stuff like that, is a dumbing down and a simplification to try and make it easier. And while I understand why they tried to do that and why they did what they did, ultimately I feel like it fails to achieve its goals because it misses the core issue. That people don't know that they're supposed to right-click in order to get to copy and paste.
Oh, you've got a different right-click menu on this computer.
That's the Windows 11 right-click.
It's not the Windows 11 right-click we've got in the machines in the office.
Whack.
The machines in the office have... Hold on.
It's different on the desktop. Oh, interesting. The cut, copy, and paste now only appears if there is something... What?
Something in clipboard. But the one in the office has like a whole bunch of icons up here.
If you right-click on the... Just right-click on the desktop for me. Oh, yeah. Have they changed it for 25H2?
I don't know.
Are you on 25H2 in the office?
I think we're on 24H2.
Yeah, maybe that's changed in 25H2.
But...
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, to what is to me the new right-click menu seems even worse and even more cluttered and even more confusing to use, because I think the Windows 11 context menu for the average user is good. I don't know, by default it seems to be about this long, and half of that is some big icons for cut, copy and paste.
Yeah, because that's what people want. That's why people
But it doesn't have the words cut, copy and paste on there. It's just got a pair of scissors.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I looked at that menu for a good second before I went, oh.
Yeah, that's a legitimate criticism.
Copy and paste was here, it's now up there, but is now just an icon. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that, actually. Changing it to be icons without
they have
labels.
now added the words. Oh, good. So that means that will probably fix itself shortly.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm just like, that was so bewildering to me. I was looking at it and I was just like, who thought this was better, to remove the words for the task that you're trying to complete and put them in some icons that, sure, are scissors you use for cutting, but that's 2 layers of abstraction now.
Yeah, the average user won't see that.
Yeah. And then I think there was a ruler for paste or something, and I was like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah. Marcel says there are registry settings for that. Yeah, absolutely true. For most of the things in Windows 11, like one comment that I will make, everyone who is just like, I don't like the context menu, I don't like that the start menu is in the middle, I don't like this and that and the other, change it. You can change it. However, in this instance, for the purposes of this conversation, the average user won't change it, so we have to judge it based on the defaults.
Yeah.
For power users, no, change it. If you don't like it, change it. However, if we're judging it by the average, then, because like for example, I use the classic context menu because I'm a power user.
There we go. This is just forced on all the time, but without the text.
Interesting. Why has that changed now? Is that because you right-clicked on an actual icon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is forced. This menu appears even when you right-click here on the machines in the office. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah. I think definitely an issue is that there are things that are the context menu can be different depending. I hate to say it, depending on the context. But also, like, for example, the cut, copy, paste icons, those should always appear on the context menu. They should be grayed out if it's invalid because you haven't selected something, but they should always be there as a reminder that that is the menu where copy and paste is expected to be.
Yeah.
Don't hide it
wild.
because it's not a valid option. Just grey it out to say you're in the right place, but you're not using it the right way, you know. So yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm so confused as to why it's completely different, but I was trying to explain it to someone because someone shouted something from the other side of the office. I said, oh, do this, do that, click on this thing. Now, like, none of that exists. And I'm like, the fuck you mean it doesn't exist?
One of us is going insane, yeah. Also, I'm... cider was mentioned in chat. Shush! Cider was mentioned in chat.
That was almost as good as my one earlier.
We absolutely need cider for this conversation, so I'm getting cider.
But yeah.
Would you like a cider?
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Do you want whatever comes out?
I'll take the left one.
The left one. Okay, there are multiple choices on the left.
That one.
I see.
No. That one. I can't see what you're doing.
Yeah, I was just... Okay.
I just saw that your hand moved.
All right, you're getting a dry 6%.
Excellent.
All right. I'm gonna have.
And you just hand me some powder.
Yes, I left this in a desiccator for a month. Enjoy your syrup.
You will be desecrated. I mean, desiccated. I mean, decimated. Wait, hold on. Demerarated.
Replace these files. No, I want to skip existing files. Also, congratulations, Explorer, for recovering from whatever the hell this was.
That's one thing I will say about Windows 10 and 11 file copying. There is an awful lot of abuse you can do to it, and it won't just die.
Yeah. And by extension, Windows 8. Oh, is that the broken one?
So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, I just apparently did it at a funny angle. Yeah. It just felt odd. I was just like, oh, no thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, people complaining about the new Notepad. Yeah, I agree. The modern version of Notepad. Yeah, open Notepad.
Oh, okay.
And it has tabs and stuff.
Not new version.
Yeah, and also it has Copilot, because of course it does. And I'm just like, having tab support in Notepad and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, but you're overcomplicating Notepad. Notepad doesn't need any of this. You know, just please stop whatever.
Why does it need a settings screen this big?
Yeah, exactly. You know, but whatever. Yeah, Notepad is definitely one of the areas where there's certainly a few points, because the current section of the Windows 11 script that I'm working on is what's people's actual complaints about Windows 11. I'm going to try and address those, and there are certainly a couple of them where I'm just like, yeah, I'm holding no water for Microsoft on this one. It's just bad. I do not know why they have massively over. I hate to use the term bloat, but yeah, I'll say it. They have over-bloated Notepad. Notepad doesn't need to be anything but a raw text editor. And if any, what bothers me the most is that they killed WordPad for this. If you needed Notepad, but with some more functionality, that's what WordPad was. WordPad is gone.
I never understood the function of WordPad because I never seemed to be able to make it work.
WordPad is a fairly competent word processor.
I only ever had it open up when it said when Windows didn't know what to do with a file, and it just went, I don't know.
Yeah. If they just added .doc support to WordPad, it would be a replacement for Microsoft Word for 95% of people, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so they did not add .doc support to it because otherwise it would just kill Word in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Lingonberry says I love the new Notepad. Yeah, I mean, see, part of me was very tempted to be like, well, just use Notepad++. But then, am I saying that Microsoft aren't allowed to improve their product to be as good as third-party competitors? You know, so I don't know. But also, I believe Notepad. It's kind of like, you know, a snide. I hate to keep saying in the script, but I'm just saying that just because I'm thinking about this. There's a snide joke in my script where I just said I'm waiting for the new version of Calculator to come out that has Copilot built into it and just gets every other calculation wrong because it sometimes forgets what the number 3 is, you know. So yeah.
Wait, what? Oh yeah. Because the old Notepad is still installed.
Oh, interesting. So you can actually revert back to classic Notepad.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and that's just a setting.
Yeah. Hold on. If I.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah. Advanced app settings, app execution aliases.
Yeah.
Basically allows you
Notepad,
to.
There you go.
Yeah. So, like for example,
Notepad.
app
we'll open that.
Yeah. App execution aliases is where classic things like Notepad are being redirected to the modern app, and there is just a setting where you can just turn that off and get back classic Notepad. I'm like, okay, they give you the choice. You can just not do it. But yeah. Or you can uninstall the Notepad app. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that would also work.
Is that it? No. Yeah, I can't remember what the actual directory is.
Yeah.
Oh. It is just there.
Yeah, just Windows Notepad exe.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then you can get the classic version.
Yeah, classic Notepad, my beloved.
So yeah, you can have both.
Yeah. Yeah, these are just side things, but yeah. Yeah, Marcel says my biggest beef with the new Notepad is it remembers things edited even when not saved. And yeah, actually big same. And I hesitated towards saying that because part of me, if you open Notepad, it will just open whatever you previously had there. And part of me is just like, well, that's kind of neat because it means that, you know, if you're just like, oh, I forgot to save the thing, it's still there until you actually discard it. But also it means that every time I open up Notepad, there's some junk there of just something that I just quickly jotted down that had no need to be saved whatsoever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not so sure about that, Chief, because also, like, this is kind of solved just by having a, you know, when you close Notepad, just a thing saying, do you want to save? You know. So I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that's a personal preference. That doesn't help if there's a power cut. True.
For example.
Yeah, very true.
Which is why the auto-recover documents in Word is kind of neat.
And in a way, I'm very interested to see that chat is very divided on these settings a lot. There's some people saying, oh, I like this, and some people going, I hate this. This kind of demonstrates the fact that a lot of people are going, I don't like this about Windows 11, therefore Windows 11 is shit. And it's like, well, actually, here's someone who actually likes that feature. Like, what about them?
For a couple of them, I don't like that they are the default.
Reasonable.
I very much like that they exist. I just don't like that they're the default.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I think that's a little bit of what a couple of them are.
Yes.
Is that it is the default. Like having Copilot integration in Word, Excel, Notepad, whatever.
Yes.
If you're a Copilot user, spot on. Perfect. You want that.
I'm opening my script just so I can take notes for some of this stuff, just to remind. Because
so if you sign into Copilot, if you use Copilot in, hold on, brain words. If you engage with Copilot, there you go. I was trying to think of the words, and in a Copilot window, you say something that says, "Oh, this document in Word." And Copilot pops up and says, oh, you've actually not enabled the integration because it's off by default.
Yeah.
if you click on this radio button that appears, I will now turn on the Copilot integrations. You click it, Copilot integrations are turned on. I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
And I would like that.
I think Microsoft's problem is that if it's off by default, no one will ever enable it and their new feature won't get used. But
you make it so it auto-enables for anyone who tries to use it. So if people are already using Copilot, if they're actively engaging with Copilot and type a message into Copilot and Copilot says, oh, I need access to Excel to do this, please give me permissions by clicking this button.
Yeah.
People will turn it on.
Now here's a term that the oldies will remember: install on first use.
I never quite followed that because, at least again for me, it always required you to put the disk back in.
Sure.
And I was just like,
but the point is, it made the option available. Yeah, okay, sure. It was flawed, but conceptually, install on first use. So let's stay with the Copilot example. And again, just for the record,
these days it's even better because everyone's internet connected.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And for the record, I'm holding no water for Copilot here because I despise all the current AI implementations. I hate them with a passion, and I want it to go away. But whatever. You put the Copilot button there, but Copilot isn't present, isn't running in the background, isn't looking at anything, doesn't do anything. But when you click on it, it goes, "Would you like to use Copilot?" And you can say yes. Then it installs it and enables it. And then for the people who are just like, I don't even want the icon there, you can just right-click, remove from toolbar. That feels like a simple compromise that gives all the functionality and even has the icon there to promote it, yet it doesn't do anything until it's asked for. That feels like a good compromise. Yeah. So yeah.
I can't think of anything. I hate about Windows, Microsoft tools, etc., etc.
Yeah.
To think about something for that, to then be like, would that change my opinion? I can think of lots of stuff where I'm like, this is chronically stupid, but sure, I deal with that.
Yeah. None of it is a deal breaker.
The only thing for me that's a deal breaker is how inept Outlook search is.
Oh, real, yeah. I don't know whatever the hell they've done to that, but yeah.
I am amazed that it's as bad as it is.
I have customers coming in saying my Outlook search is broken and doesn't work. Like Doris down the road is complaining about Outlook search not working. And for the record, someone was like, who is Doris? Doris doesn't exist. Fictional old lady who is having problems with her laptop.
Doris is a reasonably common old lady name in the UK.
Yeah. So,
certainly, at least in the south.
Yeah. So I don't know. Probably in the north as well. But
well, I don't know. Old lady names in the north are people in their 40s.
Wow. Anyway, but yeah, Doris down the road is having problems with Outlook search, so it's a problem.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's genuinely the thing that's making me consider when we change software in the office.
Yeah. Still listening.
Is actually, am I just going to dump 365 completely and go back to G Suite?
Yeah.
Because search functions.
Yeah.
G Suite search is magic by comparison. Some dude sent me some document which contained, not was titled, contained these words in the document, and G Suite search will go, oh, did you mean this document or this document? And I'm like...
Yeah. So, just a quick side note. Roger H drops in and says, "Oh, did Graham's back leg problem get better? Not hear that often." It did, thanks, Rog. Yep. I have gotten better now. I had a herniated disc, known in the old days as a slipped disc, that was causing sciatica in my right leg, and it took about 6 months to heal. It sucked. However, it has now healed. I'm still rehabilitating. I've lost a lot of flexibility in my leg and hips. However, I'm slowly getting that back by doing daily stretches. So yeah, I'm more or less better now. Thanks for asking. So yeah, coming back to what you were saying. So this is one of the things is that one of the conclusions I want to make in this video is one of the conclusions I want to make in this video is that, I'm for people who still really don't want Windows 11 and stuff, and for people who be like, Windows 11 sucks, go to Linux, go to Chrome OS, go to Steam OS, whatever you want. If you're switching to something else entirely, I think that's 100% a valid option, because at that point you're choosing to reject Microsoft's philosophy entirely and seek an alternative.
As long as you also replace your email provider from Hotmail or Outlook.
Maybe, okay, but
as long as you don't also subscribe to 365.
Well, yeah, okay, we'll come back. Yeah, stay with me on this one. My beef with people who are rejecting Windows 11 are the ones who are staying on Windows 10, because staying on a dead product that is now frozen in time with no updates at end of life, that's not a solution. And that's the argument that I want to make, is staying on a dead end product, that's not a solution. If you think Linux is better than Windows 11, go for it. By all means, I encourage that. And if anything, I think that's a good thing, because we need more alternatives. We want alternatives. So, when you say I'm thinking of ditching Office or Microsoft 365 to go back to G Suite, yeah, because you're not saying I'm going to go back to using Outlook Express. You're saying I'm going to a completely different system because I preferred their direct.
I need to do a side-by-side comparison between Outlook in Office 2021 and 365 edition for the desktop app, and see if it's the desktop apps search that has been broken, or some sort of mailbox nerfing of it.
I think it's a mailbox issue, because I'm fairly certain that both full-blown Outlook and Outlook (new)
I did a tally on the number of versions of Outlook that were installed across 10 computers in the office.
I think they both have the same problem. However, please do if you do test that, let me know how that goes, because I think they both have the same problem. Would like a confirmation.
Yeah.
So how many versions of a product named Outlook are there? This is a fun drinking game, isn't it?
So, as installed by Office 365 Business, called Outlook
something
Classic or Old.
All right.
There were, based purely off of UI editions, 3 different old style UI versions, but with different build numbers.
Yeah.
But all latest build.
Yeah.
3 different versions of that. A 4th different old style design that had a slightly different icon set. Right? Then there was 2 versions of a new design that wasn't new Outlook new design, which is the webmail new Outlook, but was a new old classic.
Yeah.
Right? So on 5.
Yeah.
Then there's new Outlook for Outlook Classic. So there's new classic Outlook. Then there is new Outlook, which is the renaming of Mail.
Yeah.
And there is the old version of new Outlook.
And of course, there is Outlook, the webmail provider, so Outlook web interface. And just, I don't understand how Microsoft didn't learn their lesson when this happened with Skype. Because Skype had multiple versions, because people didn't like Skype 8, so Skype 7 kind of just limped along.
But at least that had a version number.
I guess, yeah. So there was actually a very clear signifier
Instead
of what version.
Outlook, Classic, old interface, Outlook Classic old interface, Outlook Classic old interface.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Dan Impey's like, I'm going to need something stronger than cider for this. Yeah, real.
And then I'm trying to explain, by describing what Outlook looks like to someone in the office, how to do a task in Outlook. And they're like, I don't have that menu, it doesn't exist. And I'm just like, so have you got new old Outlook, or have you got old new Outlook, or have you got old Outlook, or have you got old new Outlook? Yes. Premier Business Services.
Absolutely. Yeah, Teams also has the same problem. Yeah. This man sounds familiar. Hello, Slinkinage. Yeah. Real.
Brought to you by the team that named the Xbox Series One X Pro Edition.
Yeah.
Can I interest you in the Asus Republic of Gamers Ally X Xbox?
That isn't an Xbox because it can't play Xbox games.
That also costs $1,000.
Yeah, just like I'm 100% with Linus here. You know, Linus's biggest beef with that product, he's just like, it doesn't play Xbox games, so it's not an Xbox. You know, just he says like that's his biggest grievance with it. It's just like they're calling it an Xbox, but it doesn't play Xbox games, so it's not an Xbox. I still can't fathom why Microsoft, with their unified Microsoft Store and multi-platform interface, how they allowed it to come to pass that an Xbox game and Microsoft Store games aren't the same thing. You know,
licensing from publishers.
Sure,
is the answer.
Yeah. However, they should not have allowed that to become conflated if they were never going to be the same thing. You know,
sure.
If I buy Sea of Thieves on the Microsoft Windows App Store, you know, if that means I don't get the Xbox version, there should never have been the implication that I was getting some kind of multi-platform version. You know, etc. So yeah.
Yes. The new Microsoft fridge, which cooks food to perfection. Oh, yes.
Teams for Work has had an update, new version last July. It wouldn't run on 6th gen Intel. Work computer was using. Works fine on Raptor Lake though. What was the deal there? Like, is it saying a compatibility issue, or are you running Windows 10 or 11 there?
LOL, your processor is too old.
Sure.
I mean, it could throw up an error message that says that because 6th gen isn't supported by 11.
That's why I'm curious. I'm curious as to what the problem there is. Yeah, Arnold G says, what are we fixing? I'm going to start fixing something now where it's not particularly interesting. However, I've got two latitudes here and I need to chassis swap them. Also, I've got the wrong installer for Windows here, so I'm going to cancel that install and get the other language installer.
This is the installer. It only installs swear words.
Yeah. Nope, this is the English International installer. However, this has a US version of Windows on it, so I have to get the English US version. Which has gone where exactly? Is it... No, it's the... Where's the... I've forgotten what my own flash drives are, which is not surprising.
I have a system. I have a very detailed system.
I've started changing the system, which is why I'm getting it wrong. Yeah, it must be this one. I found a seller on eBay where you can buy a lanyard with custom text printed on it for $4.95, and I'm just like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I just I got as a tester.
Does it say Adamant IT on it?
No, because if I wanted to actually make merch, I would obviously get them mass produced. However, for one-offs, I've just got a lanyard that says Windows 11 on it, so now I know that's the Windows 11 flash drive.
But which version of Windows 11?
I'm not going to be that fussed. It's whatever the latest version is, because I'm only ever going to have the latest build on my flash drive.
Is it English or is it other English?
Oh, right, yeah. I decided not to do that much. This is my main one with the Windows 11 lanyard is English International. I'll add the correct English. And my second drive now is English US, which is the for when I hit US version, you know. So yeah. But anyway, so I'm in the process of changing my system.
When you need the Latvian Windows installer for English.
Yeah.
Hello, I would like to install Latvian English, please.
Yeah. So yes, the point is I'm changing my system because I'm going to order a couple of lanyards just for specific things, so they actually just have written on them what they are now. So yes.
Because 25H2 is such a small upgrade, can you just call it 24H4?
That's not how that works.
I don't know. I've heard of products releasing in fifth quarter 2024. And if it was really delayed, it was launched in 6th quarter.
What happened to the PXE TFTP idea? It just hasn't been done yet. Also because I forgot. Did I put that in my notes? No, I didn't. That's why it got forgotten. So, PXE boot. Yeah, because I was thinking about this the other day because I'm still working on my server in the background. I've set up LAN cache on it, but I've got LAN cache set up, but it's not active yet because I very shamefully use my BT Home Hub as my main router, and it doesn't allow me to set the local DNS servers. Yeah, that's what I said when I looked at the config. So I can't tell it to route DNS through the LAN cache, which is a requirement for the LAN cache to work, because obviously it has to intercept requests. So that's waiting for me to sort out a different router or another solution to that. So yeah.
Odd.
So yes, Home Assistant. I haven't done that yet either. Although I have got a Ubuntu VM set up so I can install Google Cast on it because I want to be able to use it as a network speaker. However,
I see.
The server doesn't have a sound card, so I've got to buy a PCI sound card for it, so it actually has a sound output to plug some speakers into. Which feels dumb, but I'm just like, I still want to do that just because I don't like streaming music over Bluetooth. I'd like to stream it over Wi-Fi. Even though I feel like my current Bluetooth adapter, I feel like I'm losing quality over it. Maybe it's just because it's old, but also it switches off if it hasn't played anything for 5 minutes. So if I pause my music while I'm talking to a customer, the Bluetooth receiver turns itself off. Obviously, the answer to this is to get a better Bluetooth receiver, or I could set up Google Cast on my server that is just always awake. So yeah. So yeah, LAN cache is installed but not active yet. I've also got Nextcloud. What was Nextcloud for? Why?
Possibly file storage.
Yeah. Yes, I think that might have been for file storage. Yeah. And I've got a 2 terabyte SSD lined up for that as well, because I'm taking a 2 terabyte SSD out of my home PC. It's a 2.5-inch SSD, so I'm not going to use it anywhere else. So I'll lob that in the server as. Oh no, the 2 terabyte SSD. I was going to put that in for LAN cache to use, so it had high-speed storage to use for caching, because LAN cache on a hard drive apparently kind of sucks.
I can imagine that.
Yeah. However, yeah, cloud storage, that can be on a hard drive because I'm not going to be pulling more than 100 megs per second over the internet. So that's 100% fine for my cloud storage to be on hard drive.
It's also going to be mostly sequential stuff.
Yeah. So that's fine. And then, yeah, PXE boot. Yes, I need to start looking into that. So, yes.
Have you looked at containers yet?
Containers for what?
The concept therein, as opposed to VMs.
Oh, I see. Not really, because I've just set up Proxmox and I'm not going to change the entire conceptual setup.
No, Proxmox can run VMs or containers.
Oh, I see.
And containers are smaller, lighter VMs. Right, yeah. Effectively.
I mean, yeah, I already have... I've got something running as a... I've got something running as a Docker container on there already. I can't remember what. Oh yeah, I think something. It has some network storage capability that is running as a Docker container. Oh yeah, Samba is running as a Docker container. Yeah. So I've started looking into that because, for example, I kind of don't want to run because there's currently no plan to put a big RAID array into that because I have no interest in spending the money on on drives that are worth RAIDing. I had a very cursory glance to see how much it would cost to actually get some NVMe server SSDs, and I looked at some secondhand prices on eBay, and I'm like, I do not wish to spend this money. And so, as such, there's no plan to set up a VM for NAS storage. And so, as such, at the moment, I simply have Samba running in a Docker container to share out attached hard drives.
Yeah.
And yeah, VMs are a bit more portable. Yeah, I've sort of had a look at the moment, and containers are, Docker containers. I think so far my interest in Docker containers is to kind of add functionality to Proxmox in a way for something where I'm like, this isn't worth having a full-blown VM just to run Samba, So I have that running as a Docker container.
Yeah.
However, a VM, as Infinite said, is more portable. So when something is doing an actual job, that's worth setting up a VM for. Plus, I've got 128 gigs of RAM in that thing, so I'm just like, even if it's a little bit inefficient to have a VM running for this, I've got the RAM for it, so who cares, Even in enterprise environments, I often see a VM running Docker.
Yeah.
I guess if you're running a lot of Docker containers, that might make sense because you don't want you don't want your Docker server to crash and kill the VM host. That's the point of the host operating system, is that is completely isolated from what the things are doing. So yeah, electric meter go burr. Yeah, at some point I've got to get a power meter on that server and see how much power it's actually drawing, because at the moment it's basically idling. Even the Factorio server uses fractions of a % of the CPU. So I don't actually think it uses a meaningful amount of power, but also I don't know how it's possible that. But also that's why I've got half a dozen 1 terabyte hard drives lying around, and part of me was thinking, I'll just lob that all into a JBOD, and I'm like, no, because I don't really want a 100 watts of hard drive supplying me with 8 terabytes of storage. If I'm going to build storage, I will just put a decent drive in it. But that's why for the LAN cache I'm shoving in a 2.5-inch SSD. So yeah, 20 to 30 watts. Depends on how many drives you've got and whether they're doing anything and stuff like that. So yeah. Server idle uses less watts than all the running monitors. Define monitor? Do you mean as in a screen, or what? Or do you mean yeah. Elaborate. Oh, still keep personal files only. Balls. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to make a new Windows 11 flash drive on this one, because I'm not sure what that wants. Fine.
Latvian English.
Yeah.
Did you check the language screens?
Unironically, yeah, maybe. But also, did you check? Well, I've just tried English International and English US, and those are the only ones I have. So whatever. Whatever it requires, I need to make a new flash drive for that now anyway. So this laptop is actually going to get shut down now because I'm not going to try and download Windows while we're streaming. So that's just getting put to one side now. And I'm going to start taking apart these laptops to chassis swap them.
Very well.
Why not Ventnoy? Why Ventnoy though? How is Ventnoy going to solve my problem of having the wrong language on the installer? DISM has the proper command. Has a command to get the proper language. So does just downloading Media Creation Tool. All of these things you're suggesting still require me to download the language it's asking for. So why wouldn't I just run Media Creation Tool?
When you choose US version, some guy shoots and yells Yahoo. Oh, not Yahoo, but yes.
Yahoo!
Yes.
Why not fentanyl?
Why not fentanyl? Oh boy.
Okay. Sometimes I wonder. Alright. Having all the ISO on one USB.
Sure, but that requires having the ISOs in the first place.
Yeah.
And the issue at the moment is having the ISOs.
Yeah. Okay, hang on a sec. Let me refocus this. Does Ventnoy give me the option to download an all languages ISO? Because at the moment I just download the ISO from the Microsoft website, and to my knowledge at the moment on the Microsoft website, when you go to download the Windows 11 ISO, you have to specify a language. There is no option to have a all languages ISO. So does Ventnoy allow me to change Does Ventnoy automatically acquire an all languages ISO? Oh, Rufus can also download. Well, Rufus downloads whichever one you pick. Okay, does Rufus allow you to download an all languages ISO? Ventnoy, whatever. Who cares? There is no all-in-one installer. Yeah. You just drop all of your ISOs onto the USB. What do you mean all of your ISOs? Are you talking about making a multi-boot flash drive? Because that still requires me to download all the languages anyway. So we're back to where we started. No, it doesn't exist. Yeah, Ventnoy, you put all the languages ISOs onto the stick. Yeah, this doesn't solve the problem. I still have to download the languages required. And the only languages I'm going to download are English International and English US. And this is neither of those. This is something else set to English. Because I've just tried US and International. So Ventnoy would not have solved my problem. And I'm not going to download all of them just in case, because that's dumb. So yeah. Because every time a new build of Windows comes out, I'm not going to download 30 different languages. I mean, how many languages should I download just in case? You know. So yeah. I have an insane amount of viewers today. Do we? Yeah, how are we doing? Yeah, we're reasonably high. Yeah, 300 is high. We normally sit around the low 200s at the moment, I think. So yeah. Oh well. Hello everyone. Right, do you want to go to Benchcam? Because I'm going to take apart a laptop, so people are just like, oh, fix something. I'm doing it.
No.
Come on, Carrot Dog, I believe in you.
Oh, it's us!
Yep.
Oh, wait, is the... Oh, no, okay. The Insta360 Link software is not there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Wait, why are we at 30 FPS? Why does it think we're at 30 FPS?
Good question. Oh, because the camera is the camera is set to limit to 30 FPS at the moment, because that's part.
Because you're testing it.
Yeah, I'm trying to solve the jumping problem. Right now I've set it to be like, yeah, we're not trying for 60 FPS on the camera right now, just because I'm just trying to solve the jumping problem, or the frame skip problem. So yeah.
Load. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, too far. Too far.
Careful with Rufus. YouTuber being weird about it, disabling Windows security, and deems it a potentially harmful thing. Source, please.
No.
Cite your source on that one, because if true, that is very meaningful, but I have not heard that, so I'm curious as to what the source on that is.
Would you like any punching?
I don't think it's necessary, to be honest. I'm just taking a laptop apart, so yeah. This particular Latitude has been an absolute disaster. Firstly, I received it and it had a liquid damaged screen, so I was like, you know what? Rather than send it, I'm just going to swap it out with my breaker screen, because I just want to get this laptop out the door. Done all of that, and now I've discovered that the keyboard also doesn't work. So clearly it's had a fairly significant liquid damage that has killed the screen and the keyboard, so now I have to take it apart a second time to solve that. And now it is absolutely going to be sent back, don't get me wrong.
Are you going to put the broken screen back on this one and just send it back as an untrusted device?
Yes, absolutely. However, that is the long-term goal. However, firstly, I need a working motherboard so I can get the customer the device that I promised them last week before I ran headlong into all of this nonsense. But yes, ultimately the seller is getting back their broken hecking laptop, because oh my god, you guys didn't even test this. So yeah, why did you not send it back already? Because I've got a lot of stuff to do, man. You know.
Well,
you know how it is. Sometimes you need to solve the customer's problem first and foremost.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess just because it's liquid damage, my immediate response would be, this is liquid damage, full refund, send back, not touching. Just because I don't know if the logic board is going to fail in a week's time because liquid damage.
Maybe, whatever. They will get back a liquid damaged laptop. So yeah, I'm going to put in a crap motherboard because whatever. But yeah, because I doubt they have. I doubt they have serialized the motherboard. And if they screw me, I screw them. You know. So whatever. Anyway, the point is, I've got to case swap this hecking laptop which is frustrating because I've already done a bunch of swapping around. I was going to forgive the screen alone, but now it's the keyboard as well. I'm like, all right, that's enough of that, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I do enjoy the effectively inverse printing on the heat sinks. I do think it looks good, the way obviously because of the blackout, and then they letter into that.
Yeah. Remove heatsink before. Yeah. Avoiding TPM is seen as a security feature, and disabling or modifying Windows is seen as potentially harmful. Where has this occurred? Tell YouTube that. They don't listen. Where has that been done? Who has been banned or struck for demonstrating Rufus? Like, I'm not interested in theory or potential. I'm interested in where it's actually happening. Read up above. Avoiding TPM is seen as secure. Yeah, but Rufus specifically. Okay, Brightech has. Okay, so Brightech got struck for demonstrating Rufus. Is that what happened? Because like that's the thing. We need specifics in these instances because it's not that I don't believe you. It's just so many people say stuff where the situation has just been radically altered from what actually happened. I can give many examples of where people have been in trouble for X when actually they did Y, and it's like, well, yeah, what did you think was going to happen? You know, not saying that YouTube are perfect, but yeah, the devil's in the details, folks. Yeah, there were specifics. You just failed to read. Okay, I have not. Okay, could you scroll up a bit? Okay, Greg M said, yeah, Brightech got a community strike for a video from a year ago showing Rufus. Well, showing just that, showing Rufus. The trick may be to mention Rufus without the joke. They were using Rufus while talking about... Okay. Like, specifics, people. Yeah. Like,
I enjoy the idea.
Yeah, like, come on, Mike's Unboxing, you're a live streamer. You know that sometimes the chat scrolls by and you don't see the... You know how this works, man. Don't tell me I already said that. What did you say? It's scrolled off screen. I've missed it, man. You know? You know how this works. You do this as well. Brightech sailed close to the... What did Brightech do? What did he do? What exactly did he show? Because that's the thing. Is like, for all I know, Brightech showed using Massgrave, in which case, he's showing how to pirate software. So what did you think was going to happen? Like, I'm not saying that's what he did, but this is why I need specifics. He said emulate. Emulate what? Ah!
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a case of, someone said something about showing how to emulate games. And then... Yeah,
like, we already know that emulation is a hot topic because emulation and piracy are not the same thing, but go hand in hand. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah. But also, the usual comment.
Okay, right. Rufus and Flyby 11 are... Okay, right. Rufus and Flyby 11 are widely used in applications that pose no security, blah, 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 blah. Windows Defender, blah, blah. Okay. What, did you just type Rufus into ChatGPT or something? Okay, hang on a sec. He made a video showing how to install Windows 11 on older devices by removing Secure Boot and TPM using... Oh, okay, on the Rufus installer. By using Rufus. Okay, by using Rufus. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, that's fine. We finally got to it. Brightech made a video showing how to use Rufus to bypass the system requirements and got community struck for it. Are we in agreement? That's correct. Okay, yeah, sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Allegedly, yeah. Although
because obviously YouTube won't tell you.
Yeah.
So
okay, but that was the video that got taken down, though. That's what we're saying.
Well, I don't know, because someone said somewhere that someone said that their video was not specific on what got taken down. Therefore,
okay, yeah, they
as far
haven't
as I
said
can
what-
tell,
yeah.
we know nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Because this is the thing. If later on in the same video he demonstrates using, like this is the thing. Later on in the same video he might show using Masgrave to activate Windows, which completely torpedoes the entire discussion. This is the problem. You have to say exactly what was done in the video in order for us to understand, because YouTube don't tell you what it is. So yeah.
Yeah. Mike also had a video taken down
Yeah,
because
also had the
Mike
same-
showed
don't know why, both
using
used
Rufus.
Yeah, yeah. YouTube did not. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I fully understand. Like YouTube not saying why it's dangerous and harmful. Yeah, fully agree. Yeah, the YouTube takedown notice and stuff is nonsense because they don't explain why it's dangerous and harmful and stuff like that. However, yeah, we have in this instance established that on the assumption that the video is about using Rufus to bypass the Windows 11 system requirements
and nothing else.
and nothing else. If that got taken down as dangerous and harmful, yeah, absolutely, that's bullshit. Yeah, we agree. However, but you understand why I'm careful about this, because the devil's in the details, man. The devil's in the details. And murder, don't forget about the murder. Yeah.
Why am I here? Oh, right, the murders. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing they had in common was Rufus, and nothing else. I'm working on the assumption there. And in which case, yeah, that's kind of nonsense. I'm trying to think, something came up recently about someone else having a video taken down for seemingly innocuous reasons. Because I heard about it on the WAN show, but I can't remember why it was taken down. Because again, this came up on WAN show, and you know, again, it was a interesting topic. But again, you have to establish exactly what is and is not in the video, because a lot of the time when this happens, they also showed something where it's just like, okay, yeah, what did you think? But whatever.
I still think my
LTSC,
favourite one
maybe.
is the whole Gamers Nexus thing with, here, we showed you the news and got a copyright strike.
That was very funny.
And I'm just like,
Yeah, like it sucks to be Gamers Nexus, but yeah, that.
hi, here is the marketing video from
Yeah.
a product that we're reporting on as the news. Here's a
Yeah.
copyright strike.
Yeah, that is mind blowing.
It's fucking broken.
Please make a Rufus video and see what happens. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's not my lane, to be honest. I tell people to use Rufus, but I don't need to make a video demonstrating how to use Rufus. So yeah. Plus, also, like, don't get me wrong. You know, as I say, if it's Rufus and nothing else, you know, if this is what it seems to be at face value, then no, absolutely not, because I don't want to get a copyright strike. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, have GNXEC or Lewis Rossman do it. Yeah, that would be interesting. Rossman's a great case study for this because, to use his own words, he's very good at playing stupid games, you know. In one of his recent videos where he was, starting to get into the whole flock camera stuff that he's currently covering, you know, he said, if you play stupid games, please be aware that I'm exceptionally good at stupid games, you know. And I'm like, that's a good line, you know.
I don't know why, but I expected the line to be, if you're going to play stupid games, please be aware I am incredibly stupid.
Yeah, no. But yeah, that's the thing, is just, yeah, to do with going through all of the legal routes and stuff like that is just like, yeah, if you want me to fill out a dozen forms to get stuff done, I will fill out your dozen forms. So yeah.
What does Lewis Rossman do now? Does he do? This is going to sound like an inflammatory statement.
Yeah.
Does he do anything other than making videos now? He's not running a repair shop, is he?
He's heavily involved with a repair shop. I guess you could call him an executive director in that he's not doing anything, but he is there to He's there to facilitate and advise getting stuff done, and that kind of thing. And I guess at this point, these days, if someone said, what does Lewis Rossman do? I would call him a consumer rights activist, which is a legitimate profession at this point, right to repair, yeah. He's a professional complainant. Well, in a way, but also he is a consumer rights activist to this extent, and consumer rights campaigner. Activist feels like an understatement of it. Yeah, he is a campaigner in that he gets stuff done, So, yeah. So, yes. How can anyone copy software over and over again and not pay the creators? How come one copy gets the right to do that? Copying... don't know the context for that. Lewis certainly likes to talk. Yeah, he does to an extent. I don't agree with Lewis on everything, but he does. I very rarely... I might not agree with everything he says, but I agree with his goals and objectives. And I think that's worth quite a lot. I need a prying tool because this guy won't come out. I think I'm
Is that because it's screwed in?
No, I've taken the screws out. It's an interference fit, and I need something to lift it at this end, and I can't get under there. So yeah, I think I'm going for the keyboard swap rather than the chassis swap on this, because this chassis is in slightly better shape than the other one. There we go. That's what I needed.
Like that. Just like that.
Just like that. Right.
Nice.
Take that out as well. I've got to do this again on another one in a minute. All right. That's all coming back. This is all coming back. That can come out.
It's all mine.
Is the video a bit blown out? A little bit. But I think it's passable personally. So yeah.
I was going to say, it's mostly just trying to make sure that there's any detail in the mostly black laptop.
Yes. I assume we did the PC spec thing already. No, we haven't actually. Yeah.
I can engage in this conversation.
We could do while we're...
I meant to say we can engage in this conversation.
Yeah. You're swapping the base cover so you return... I'm just making a working laptop right now. That's my priority. I'll figure the rest out later. So yeah, let's face it. Is the seller going to have any idea if it's the same laptop? I don't know. Right now, my priority is to make a working laptop.
What were you needing to have specifications for? What were you needing to build or looking to build?
I just want a working laptop so I can sell it to the customer.
You titled the stream.
Oh, right, yes, speccing a PC. Yep.
Speccing what?
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm providing a conversation here, Graham.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Jesus Christ!
I spoke out of turn. I didn't mean it. Right.
What are the objective?
Bert, you're shouting again, Bert. Right. Let's see. Right. £1,200 PC.
Okay.
Is the
You're going to need a lot of lead.
I'm going to glass you with this in a minute. All right. Yeah. £1,200 PC. So pretty standard fare, to be honest. But yeah, building a £1,200 PC, and then we're going to. I need to then present a couple of alternatives for like a £1,400 and a £1,600 version, because the customer was a bit vague. Because the customer came in, they asked for a PC, and I'm like, okay, how much do you want to spend? And they're like, oh, I don't mind. I can spend some money. Blah blah blah. Didn't answer the question. I'm like, okay, I'm going to throw a number out there as a starting point. Look, what if I said 1,200? Does that shock you? And they're like, oh, I can spend 1,200. I'm like, okay, do you want to spend more than that? Because obviously we can make it faster if you spend more. higher, lower, help me out here, you know. And he basically did not help me out, and he was just like, oh, if you could tell me what the options are, you know. So basically, I'm starting at 1200 because I'm starting at 1200 with the expectation of a 7500F and a 9070 vanilla. And then I'm going to do like the £1,400 option is probably going to be 9070 XT and 2 terabytes of storage, and then £1,600 version make it a 7800X3D instead of a 7500. That's what I got in mind.
Do you have any parts in stock?
I don't think I've got principally I've got nothing right now. So yeah.
Okay, you don't have any.
No, I'm all out.
Any AliExpress CPUs?
No, I have a CPU on the way, but I also want to use that in my LAN box, so I need more anyway. Like I'm building more PCs, and I've just finished building a PC which used up most of the stuff I had lying around. So assume I've got nothing in stock right now. So yeah. Yeah, I've basically used up everything I have in stock, and anything that I've got remaining will get used in something else. So yeah, assume we're building from scratch. And do you want to put us on... let's see. Chat, what do you want to look at? Do you want to look at me disassembling and reassembling a laptop, or do you want to see us picking out these parts? What are we interested in at the moment?
It looks like...
Better to ask what they use it for. Gaming PC. Yeah, that was... Sorry, I should have mentioned that. This is a gaming PC that we're building. So yeah.
It looks like the current price for a 7500F off of Ali is £113. Yeah.
All right.
Give or take a few pennies.
General consensus is parts.
Very well.
More people are saying parts because the laptop is normal. Yeah. Which is, yeah, this is just an assembly job, to be honest.
I meant window capture.
Hello.
Wait, this is desktop. That's why I'm confused. Browser with chat. That's what we want.
Thanks, producer Caradog.
Message. Here you go.
There we go. Yeah.
Have message.
Yeah. All right, folks who wanted to see the laptop, yeah, sorry, but I'm still doing. You can see me doing it in the top right.
Run the VOD backwards for reassembly.
Just trod me. God, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Right, is that coming out now?
Yes. So we'll base it off of 113.50, I guess. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba.
Looks fine. Actually, is this the broken one or the working one? Yeah, that's the dead keyboard. Okay. Oh, yeah. I can see one. Yeah, okay, fine. That's a high price. Right, what probably available. The prices have kind of sucked recently on the Amazon on the AliExpress CPUs, Si. Like 110, 115-ish for 7500Fs. That's just what I'm seeing. And like, also bearing in mind, like if you've got coupons, that doesn't count. Because like this happened the other day where you were like, oh, I just bought a CPU for 80 quid or something. And it was like, yeah, because you had coupons,
Yeah, the coupons are just the AliExpress coupons they throw at you when you go to the homepage.
Yeah.
That's the only ones I particularly include.
Oh, yeah. Oh, true. Yeah, we can add those on, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, that's the base price, though, yeah.
Do you want to add a specific cooler? Do you have a particular one in mind, I meant to say?
No, just something to the value of... so thermal rights go for about 17 quid at the moment, I think. So something to the value of £17-ish.
Yeah.
I guess you could, or £18 if they've got thermal rights there for 18 quid.
Yeah, I'm just looking at loosely what's available in this price, and I'm just like, nothing particularly new.
Let's see. Yeah, put put DDR in storage, prices go burr. Yeah, I've actually got a couple of DDR kits because I think it was Clev, that budget brand that have been doing the rounds recently. I bought a couple of 32 gig 6000 CL30 Clev kits for like £83 each. And so I just bought like 3 or 4 of them. And given what the prices are doing, I wish I'd bought more. So yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I'm doing a reasonable amount of PC building because I feel a bit more confident about buying multiples now, knowing that I will use it up. I also feel more I feel so much better now that I'm doing AM5 only, because every computer I build, I just feel like it's a good computer now instead of a compromise. And now I'm just like, yeah, if I'm buying RAM, sure, I'll buy 5 DDR5 32 gig kits, because like that's going to be the same kit you put in every computer for the next couple of years, you know.
You're just going to use a gaming XAX V2 again?
That's a good baseline, yeah. £135. Yeah, put that in as a placeholder. I might swap it out for something at the moment when I buy it, but 135 is a good guideline price.
Yeah.
If I manage to save a couple of quid at the time of purchase, then good for me, you know. Make sure the computer case can fit the cooler's height. Yeah, the thermal rights fit in everything, as long as you're not using a tiny case. But also, again, I don't use cheap-ass cases anymore because I'm just done with cheap-ass cases. I'm very bored of just running into that trap. And by cheap-ass case, I mean like £30 cases where you actually have problems like that.
Ah. That's interesting.
What are you looking at? Oh, RAM prices. Yeah.
Just this kit is a...
What kit is that? Is that the Clev kit?
Yeah, it's a 28, 36, 36, 76 kit.
Oh, 28. Oh,
sure, it's £106, but it's also just a fact of it's functionally the cheapest one.
Also, CL28 for £106. That's crazy.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah. What's the... how much is the CL30 version of that kit going for at the moment?
Currently 110 effectively.
Yeah. Oh, there's a Crucial Pro overclocking kit there for... Oh, that's 36. What's the cheapest CL30 kit? Oh, the Clev is the cheapest.
The Clev.
Yeah.
This one. Yeah, these prices are...
Yeah. Kinda tempted to just buy a bunch of that Clev CL28 kit.
Yeah, I'll certainly stick it in there for the moment.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's worth...
Because like we know that prices are going up, and so 106 quid for CL28 is just like, that's pretty good. I kind of... Yeah. The problem is, I've got money in the bank at the moment, but this weekend I'm going to be shuffling a bunch of money around that might result in me having less money, but put my accounts in a better position. Basically, I have to pay myself. I haven't paid myself in a while, and my accountant recently spoke to me on the phone and was just like, hey, so you need to pay yourself. And I'm like, oh, okay, I've got the money to do that, but that's going to take money out of the business, which means I won't have the liquid money on hand to bulk order stuff. So I'm, yeah.
Oops.
Anything under £100 is a buy at ATM, yeah.
What SSD?
1 terabyte, not garbage. So yeah, like I quite like
WD Blue SN5000. Crucial P310.
60 quid. Oh, P3. What are these prices? I want to pay. I'm not 60 quid for a 1 terabyte, man. Can we do better than that?
Sure.
Yeah. What are the A datas on Spire going for right now? Are they still going cheap?
I don't know. I was just picking stuff that's publicly available, and then I was going to compare to seeing if there was anything on Spire.
Yeah, because I don't like. I'm not a fan of paying more than 50 quid for a 1 terabyte SSD.
Yeah.
But like, if that's what the cost has gone to for something that is not Garbo, yeah. Although to be honest, those ADATA Legend, the ADATA Legend 860s, these are pretty mid, to be honest. They work, but I'm kind of I don't know if I'm going to buy more of them for gaming PCs, because I've built a couple of gaming PCs with them, and when just doing file transfers and stuff like that, and I'm like, these aren't very good. Like, they work, they're fine, I don't regret buying them, but I don't know if I want to keep buying them. I hate all the ADATers. Yeah, I've been buying them because they've been great prices, but having used a couple of them now, I'm just like, they just don't feel very fast.
Do you have a case in mind?
No, not really. What's good priced at the moment? What's the Fantex XT Pro at 55 quid?
That
looks nice. Yeah. Yeah. The Montec XR is there. Do we like the Montex XR? I can't remember if that's a flimsy one or not. But yeah, I quite like the Fantex.
spacious, powerful, affordable.
Yeah. I like the look. I like the simplicity. What's the yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, it looks fine. Yeah. Yeah. What's our option if I said I wanted it to have some RGB? What's a cheap RGB case look like on the on the price list? The Montec XR has RGB, by the looks of things there.
Montec X3.
Yeah, the XR of 50 quid. Yeah, that comes with. It's got the side mount fans, and the problem with the side mount fans is it tends to make the case longer, and customers don't like big cases. They don't like the big ones. They want something compact. So
Deep Cool CC560.
Bring up the big view of the main picture.
Oops.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that personally.
Yeah. £49.
3000D is nice, but you're not going to get one of those for 50 quid. Like the Corsair 3000, I love it to bits. That's my favourite builder case right now. But also, you're not going to find it for, you're not going to find it for 50 quid.
Colink Observatory HF Mesh ARGB.
Don't know about the Colinks.
Yeah,
the Colink are it's the generic Chinese stuff, and they just feel a bit tat. Whereas that Fantex is going to have a metal front mesh, so it's going to feel nice.
Oh my god, you can spend 56 quid on a CIT.
Terrible. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of inclined to go
AX90.
I don't like the look of it. And don't get me wrong, this is subjective, and I'm being fussy. But this is kind of my point with AM5 now. Is I want to build computers that I like, so I feel confident selling them.
Fantex Eclipse P400A digital. Oh no, that's out of stock. Montec Air 903 Max.
Yeah. You're also not building a PC for £800. Get something better. Sure, but we're not. Well, actually, the £1,200 budget assumes a 9070 vanilla, not XT. So actually, we probably could afford an £80 case. So actually, for funsies, stick the Corsair 3000 ARGB on there. So yeah, there's the 3000D Airflow, the RGB version of that, basically. I think
Isn't the 3000 the one that's a little bit shit because it's missing everything?
Kinda, yeah, but also it's still a nice case and it's cheaper than the rest.
Okay.
Yeah, like the 4000 is the one that is nicer, but also the 4000's like £100.
I thought the 3000 didn't come with fans, or only came with two.
There is a version with RGB fans.
Oh, okay.
And that's the one that I like.
Yeah.
It doesn't have an RGB controller, but it has ARGB fans, so you just plug them into the motherboard. It even comes with a splitter for them.
Oh, that's not bad.
So yeah.
The Silverstone Farah.
Yeah, where's the 3000D with ARGB? It'll be about 75, 80 pounds.
Yeah. 4000D without fans.
Yeah. M80X is a no-go. I like the idea of M80X, but it limits your motherboards quite a lot, and also you often end up with just not a lot of room for the graphics card airflow. So I try to avoid it at the moment because you start compromising. It's not terrible, but I like to be very broad, cover all the bases here.
Did you buy a LAN Cool 207?
No, I never did.
Oh, okay.
However, LAN Cool 207 at £75, that seems
Or
okay.
a 206
Yeah.
at £75.
Yeah. Where is that Corsair 3000? How much is it? Just so we know where we're going to, you know.
3,000.
RGB overkill. People like RGB. Everyone loves RGB. And if you don't like RGB, that's fine. But customers like RGB. They like the ones that light up.
What? Apparently none of the Corsair cases are compatible.
Oh yeah, the compatibility filter is garbage. Yeah.
3,000.
Yeah, we all know this. Yeah, the PC part picker compatibility filter is hilariously terrible.
There you go. The ARGB in black is 80.
Yeah. I mean, let's throw that on there for the time being and see where that puts the price. Yeah, because that's a great case. I like that case a lot. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Power supplies.
C750 for £75.
Not bad. How much have I got to pay? Yeah. How much do I need to pay to get an RM in there?
Over more than 82.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I guess we're going for a CX then.
Yeah, don't know.
Yeah. To be honest, I've got in stock a bunch of the Cooler Master Watt 2 whatevers that I got from Spire for £35 for 550 watts, and they've got a B rating on the tier list as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, some of the Cooler Master power supplies are cracking bang for buck right now.
Yeah. NZXT C750 for 75 quid, I guess.
Yeah, that'll be modular, won't it? Yeah. Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fully modular.
Yeah, that seems all right. Yeah, let's lob that on there for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. So that takes you to a total parts price of, in round figures, 1,100.
Nice, £100 profit. That's my profit sorted. That puts us at 1,200. So there's our base system then.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's that. Now we just need a modified version of that and go, okay, what if we had 1,400 and then what if we had 1,600? And then basically, so I need to take those options. Then basically I've got to bundle this into an email and email the customer and say, here are the options. Here's the base one that I was recommending to you. And here's what we could do if you gave us another £200 or another £400.
DDR5. You can do that. You can do speed. There's speed. 6,000. Where's Expo? Expo certified. There you go.
I've lost all of my screws. All right. Oh, I dropped the screw and I can't see where it went there. Let's see, 9070 XT, £1,400, 1,600 with a 7000 X3D. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I just want to put those lists together and just check it, basically.
Yeah, using Spire for RAM as well, it's functionally the same price.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah.
Yeah. Does the customer also want a monitor? No, they've got a TV they're using.
Graphics. 9070. The cheapest 9070 in stock is $530, which compares to here for
Yeah.
$99.99. Fine.
Yeah, it's a bit cheap. Yeah, the non-XT. Well, no, £100
this is slightly
cheaper is
cheaper.
fair. Yeah, I don't know why. I thought that the 1970 non-XT might be a bit lower than that, but then also on the, but yeah, no, I guess that's fair because the XT is just a slightly better version kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, TV is only 60 hertz. Speak for yourself. It's a 120 hertz OLED.
Yeah.
So yeah, TVs are good now. Yeah.
Well, they're fine.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, obviously they're
They
not
have
going to be.
gotten dramatically better.
Yeah, they're not ass anymore, and they
Yeah.
used to be ass. So yeah,
Yeah.
the 1970 Reaper is a small card. Get something bigger. For what end?
Yeah. But yeah. Oh yeah, 7500S. How much are they on Spire?
Yeah. Well, actually, to what end? To make it fill out the case more. Sure, there's an argument to be made there, but filling out the case isn't something that I worry about. I would rather buy the cheaper graphics card because the speed will be the same.
Would you
What are
like to
looking
spend
at?
£160 on a 7500F from Spire? No.
No, I don't think I will.
No. Good Lord. No. Okay.
What are they
no.
thinking? Surely, Spire's prices on AMD CPUs are kind of broken at the moment because they're switching suppliers, is our understanding.
Yeah,
So,
but it's
yeah.
also just a fact of, oh no, they do have stock of a CPU. There we go. They have 3 CPUs in stock.
Yeah, they're switching suppliers or whatever.
They did it. They got stock.
But not really, you know. Yeah,
Oh, whack. Okay.
that's the AMD prices. They had them at 150. Are you saying that the prices are going up, Si?
Yeah.
Why would you swap suppliers if your prices are going to be more expensive?
Effectively volume, because they can source them direct. So they can now actually get the volume that they were selling. Or the number of
Okay,
inquiries
yeah.
that they were getting
Yeah.
meant that they were constantly out of stock.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have to sell at a higher price but are constantly in stock,
That
even if
works
you
out
lose
better.
5% of sales because of price,
Yeah.
you gain 100% of sales by being in stock.
This is true, yeah. Because as far as Spire are concerned, the customer eats the cost. So yeah,
Yeah.
as long as they've still got their markup on it, it doesn't matter to them. But yeah, that's fair. Not super bothered because, to be honest, I was kind of expecting to get most of my CPUs from AliExpress these days anyway.
Yeah.
With the exception of the 7600X, because occasionally I do buy those when I need the onboard GPU for like an office box or something like that.
Yeah.
Why not Montec case? Because everyone complains that I was putting a cheap case in there, so we made it a slightly better case. And I'm kind of okay with that, to be honest. If the budget is there to put it in a Corsair, then I'm down for that, because Corsair cases are really nice. They're all metal, they feel premium, they look premium, and when the customer sees a Corsair case, they go, wow, that looks really good, which is just, that's what you want.
Oh, it's
know.
the one without airflow, without the RGB. Oh, I was about to say, would you spend £4 less and put it in the 4000D?
Yeah, no,
But
not
then I
if we use
realised
the
it's the
RGB.
non-RGB.
Yeah. And also, like, again, the 3000 is fine. I know it's missing a couple of things and stuff like that.
No. But I was about to ask the non-question of, would you save £6 and put it in the better case?
I see,
But then
yeah.
I spotted it was lacking the RGB.
Got it.
So I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I think the 4000D is a touch bigger as well. And as I say, customers, they want the smaller cases. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to build in. The term is compact ATX is the term I use, where it is as small as possible but still is ATX. You know.
1000 gigabytes.
And personally, I think the 3000 is an incredibly good balance for that.
Your options are...
Yeah, as soon as you go down to micro ATX, the motherboards suck, or at least are not as good.
The options are, from Spire, basically the A-Data Legend 8600. If you want anything cheaper.
Oh, that's gone up to £56 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're expecting a 30% increase in DRAM prices and
Yikes.
SSD prices
Yeah.
because SK Hynix and Samsung have said they're putting up their prices by 30%.
Oof. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. What's our if we don't buy the A data, then what else are we going to buy?
The SM5000.
How do we feel about the SN5000, folks? How does that match up versus something like
Yeah, or it's an MP33.
Yeah, I think I'll give the SM5. Yeah, let's take the SM5000 for a spin because it's £5 extra, and now we've got a Western Digital in there. And yeah, go Samsung. Do you want to pay for it? Because Samsung's going to be another £20.
Yeah.
Just instantly another £20 just to have Samsung written on it. And if you're, and it's probably going to be £30. Well, how much is the Samsung? Yeah.
Have they got any?
Samsungs are like 40% more expensive.
87.
Yeah, like for a 1 terabyte drive, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
no.
27 quid more.
Yeah. Like if you actually need the performance, like if you need your drive to go fast, sure. Absolutely.
If you need your fast drive to go fast, you're buying the Crucial T510 anyway.
Sure, but we are now nearly twice the price.
Yeah.
No, just immediately no.
Yeah.
So yeah. Buy will pay. No, the budget was 1,200.
But yeah. Power supplies. Components. Power supplies. Wattage. Oh, you have to. Oh boy. Okay. Nope.
Yeah, always performance before looks. Okay, so we could tank the case to make the SSD faster. However, the customer is not, the customer on a gaming PC, the customer's probably not going to see the difference between an SN5000 and a Samsung. So yeah, we would have to, we could, it's a fair point, we could take the case down to a cheap-ass Montec XR. We could ditch the nice case to put a fast SSD in there. However, I personally don't think that's a good trade, considering we're not going for the cheapest SSD money can buy here. We're already putting in the mid-range SSD. Like if I was cheaping out on the SSD, we'd be putting we'd be putting a £45 SSD in there. We're already going for the medium one. Montec cases do not feel cheap at all.
You could put a Corsair 650 RME in there for £64.
Yeah. Graham, no, that DRAMless thing isn't mid-range. But anything that is DRAMmed is high-end. This is what mid-range looks like. The Samsung is high-end. So yeah, what was that, sorry?
You could put this 650 RME in there for £64.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. Yeah.
But just obviously you'd need to build up more in your cart to make the shipping cost worthwhile.
Yeah, well,
so
yeah,
six of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah, that's the thing that can be done because, when we come to buying those, I'll probably buy a couple of them.
Yeah.
So I can make that work out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yes, it looks like the power supply might be a better choice from Spire.
Yeah. Wouldn't call a Crucial P5 high end. How much is a Crucial P5?
No idea. Let's find out. Where's storage gone? All my fingers are on the wrong keys. This is a SSD. Crucial P5.
Yeah.
The only one that's...
It's the same price as the Samsung. Well, but
these are the 510s.
Oh, that's the 510,
which is the new version, which is the Gen 5 one.
Yeah.
If you want the P5, it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
they've stopped selling it.
Yeah, this drive is irrelevant. Yeah, this drive is irrelevant. So no, that's not a valid argument. Yeah. Okay, let me rephrase that then. Name me a DRAM drive that is in the price bracket that I'm looking for, which is about £60. I don't want to spend £90 on a terabyte of storage. What are my options? Because this is the thing, is that...
these are hard drives.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. Now, this is the thing. It's really easy to spend other people's money. That's a phrase I love saying. It's really easy to spend someone else's money because, like, you know, we do this, and then you say, "Oh, putting it in a cheap case. Why not a better case?" Fine, okay. Why not the nicer graphics card that is a bigger one and fills the case out more? You know, why not a better brand of RAM? You know, why the 7500F instead of the 7600X? We can play this game all day, and suddenly you've completely obliterated your budget. If you want to get the price down, this is what you have to do. You have to save £10 here and £10 there. Otherwise, you're not going to get the price down.
Yeah, it's £9 to go to the MSI Spatium M480.
Okay, I said just then, and then went, a spatter what?
Spatium.
What the hell kind of a name is a spatium?
It's MSI naming. I mean, it's instantly...
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, that's 70 quid. I mean, does that have DRAM?
Yes.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yes, yeah. It's
So-
the cheapest one that has cache.
Interesting, okay, yeah. So that would be our mid-range drive then, apparently, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just went capacity 900, cache, yes. And then sorted by price.
Spatium, it could be, yeah.
Oops, those are hard drives again. Fucking! There you go, SSDs. And then just went price. Just selected the cheapest one.
Yeah. Kioxia, Xera, is the Xera DRAM drive? Like, I like Kioxia drives, but I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them at relevant prices in a while.
Yeah.
You know, like at one point the Xera drives were great bang for buck, but yeah, I haven't seen them around in a while.
You could always put in a Crucial MX500.
MX500 is a great drive. Unironically, I love the MX500. Is it limited to 500 megs a second? Yes, but it will do 500 megs a second all day long. That was a cracking drive. So yeah, G2 has DRAM apparently. Yeah, does it still exist though? So yeah, MX500 has DRAM. Yeah, it's a great drive. Fantastic drive. I was very sad when the MX500 stopped being relevant.
Apparently, no, the
Yeah, it doesn't exist, no longer relevant. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, when I say this is not relevant, I'm not trying to be facetious. It's just like, no one has stock of it, so it doesn't matter. If you can't buy it, it's irrelevant. If it doesn't exist, then why should I care about it, you know?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Yeah, if it doesn't exist, then it doesn't matter. That's the thing. This is why I shop by price, because I'm shopping for stuff that I can buy now at a good price.
No.
I'm not interested in stuff that's theoretically good. I'm interested in the thing that I can buy with my money right now, because that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Right, that's the...
I presume you're not taking the MSI drive.
No.
Yeah.
Also, I want to try out those SM5000s and see if they're any good. They'll be fine. I just want to see if they're agreeable. So yeah.
Motherboards. That's what I meant to look at.
Where did I put... Oh, it's right in front of me.
Where did I put this thing? Oh. B650.
ThickWatt. Yeah, the ThickWatts were pretty alright at the time. But also, again, we're shopping by price here. If it was relevant, it would have appeared on the price list. Well, that is, of course, assuming that PC Part Picker have it, you know.
Well, also a case of just assuming it still exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if ThickWatt were a bit of a fly-by-night brand that just, you know, just whatever was being manufactured that month, so to speak. Yeah, don't get me wrong.
boards.
Yeah, I'd love mid-range SSDs with some DRAM on them. But yeah, I think SSDs are in a very sorry state right now. But also, I think that was the state of SSDs right now is reflective of the actual cost in keeping them at the price they are at, because we're asking to pay about 50 quid for a terabyte, where DRAM prices have skyrocketed, where NAND prices have skyrocketed, and in order to keep the price where it is, they've had to cut into performance. So yeah, Fick what on NetAC? Oh, interesting.
Can I interest you in the Asus Prime B850M-A-CSM? CSM standing for Corporate Stable Model.
Ha. Can we look at what is a corporate stable model? Does
Yeah.
it tell us anything about that? Yeah. I wonder if that's just ultra high availability kind of thing. Like, I wonder if ASRock are like, yeah, we're going to manufacture this motherboard for the next 5 years, and it will be exactly the same for the next 5 years, or something like that.
Don't know.
Oh, there we go, yeah. Corporate Stable Model is a commercial program designed to provide stable and reliable motherboards, offering up to 36-month product lifecycle support and 6 months end-of-life notice to allow sufficient lead times for your organisation to get ready for product transitions. Interesting. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a guarantee that this board will be relevant for the next 2.5 years.
Yeah, 36 months of supply.
Yeah. So yeah,
Meaning you can get parts.
Interesting.
But it's also only 36 months.
I was going to say, if you're when talking about long-term support, 36 months isn't really very long.
Yeah, like I expect long-term support to be
5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But interesting, yeah.
So what's 5 years
821
for?
power delivery. Yeah, for a B850, that's not impressive.
I mean, it depends what it's 8 stages of.
Yes.
Because if they're 400 amps
Yeah.
stages,
It's-
8 of them is enough to set fire to your house.
True. It also just depends on it depends on what that is, because
Yeah.
by
Also-
comparison, one of my favorite boards at the moment, the MSI B650 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi, that's 12 stages, but I'm 90% certain it's phase doubled. I haven't studied it in enough detail to confirm that, but those 12 phases are discrete MOSFETs, which is pretty dinosaur.
Yeah.
And they don't have 12 drivers on them, so I'm pretty certain that the drivers are phase doubling, so it's not actually 12 at all, whereas that might be a genuine 8, and that might be 8 phases of DR MOSFETs or something like that, which is pretty good, you know.
Does it say what they are? Why did it say that? Oh, there. Not specifically.
No, they very rarely actually tell you what it actually is.
VRM Digi Plus.
Although actually in that picture, the picture might can you zoom in on that? Ah, that's discrete MOSFETs, yeah. I mean, we can't see... Oh yeah, no, there's driver chips between that. And looks like there's drivers for each phase. Yeah, I think that's 8 discrete phases. So it looks like it's 8 good phases. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not power stages or anything like that, but you wouldn't expect that for this class of motherboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a driver chip on each phase. So that's probably 8 discrete phases, which is fine.
Probably won't set fire to your 7600.
No, not that it matters, because like I've said before, VRMs are basically a solved problem right now.
Yeah, on so many of these.
You have to go to a very extreme, unrealistic scenario for it to be even questionable. And the only times I've heard from people where there are actually problems, they say, "Oh, it was on a HPO," and I'm like, "That's OEM, man. Of course it's garbage. What did you think was going to happen?" You know. So yeah. Prime boards are effectively trashed here. I have no idea. I don't know what the Prime is using at the moment.
But they are a bit rubbish, aren't they? Right, so if we change...
ASIC says could be dual gate drivers. It could be. Yeah, and if it is, I stand to be corrected. Like I said, I haven't looked at what the driver setup is. I've just looked and seen that because, I've just looked and seen because I was curious because I did an overview of the Asus B650 Tough and B650 Strix, and those have 12 power stages on them. And when I saw that the MSI board was claiming to have 12 VRMs as well, I was like, have MSI just eaten Asus's lunch here? And the answer was no, Asus's power setup is still better. But the Prime isn't going to have the power stages on it, so yeah. Wouldn't call Prime boards trash, they're just overpriced entry-level board. Yeah, I'd agree with that statement.
Bad. Yeah, which kind of makes them bad because...
Yeah, they're poor value for money, but they're not bad products, they're just bad value. Which in a way makes them bad, but they're not bad on a technical level, they're bad on a value for money level. So yeah. No heatsinks, so likely they're going to fry it. No, that's a myth. That's a myth.
Yeah.
So yeah. Are you buying AM5 ASRock boards? Yeah, because Spire have some good ones. ASRock have got some nice boards.
Yeah, and basically you could just about fandangle a 5080 into it for the budget of 1600.
Is that with the 7500F?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we could offer that, yeah, so put the
Certainly
5080 in, or the or a 7800X3D.
Yeah.
This customer is obsessed with future-proofing, and I did impart upon them the dangers of future-proofing, specifically that buying a flagship graphics card is never good value for money.
Yeah.
There have been some exceptions. Obviously, we all know 1080 Ti owners are laughing. We all know that.
Yeah.
However, that's an exception rather than the norm.
The other point, just to remind people of with that, is the 1080 Ti has lower performance than a 5050.
Yeah, but
has lower performance than a 4050.
Yes, but we can all agree
so it's just a case of yes, it's done really well.
Yeah,
but
it is no longer relevant. No,
we're so far on.
Yeah, but we can all agree that the 1080 Ti it aged incredibly well.
Yeah, it lasted a long time.
Yeah,
yeah.
Don't you dare pair a 7500F with a 5080. I mean, you could.
I mean, if you're playing at 4K, it would probably be all right.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Certainly, if you're a single player, ray tracing player, it will probably be absolutely fine. I've not actually
CPU performance
checked.
As long as you're running a Ryzen 7000 or up, CPU performance in gaming is basically irrelevant at the moment, except for some cases where you can start seeing some gaps. But you have to look at case scenarios to spot it. I know it sounds dirty, but you would be surprised how irrelevant CPU performance is, assuming you have a Ryzen 7000 or better.
And playing at 4K.
Yeah, the modern CPUs are really good now, which is why the 7500F is just such a good CPU.
Yeah.
Because in 95% of instances, you just don't need anything more than that.
Yeah, how much did Sai get a 7800 for? Or see them for?
Probably 30p. Yeah.
There's nothing particularly earth-shattering about these prices.
Yeah. ASRock are good as long as you're not using an X3D. Their frying issues are apparently not solved yet. Yeah, I don't know much about that situation right now, if I'm honest. So yeah.
Yeah, nothing better than 280, so yeah.
6 cores are enough, but if you're spending $1,000 on a graphics card, get an X3D chip. Yeah, but now the PC costs $2,000 instead of 1,600. Or okay, it costs 1,800 instead of 1,600.
Well, yeah. Other than the fact of you'd need to find another £30 for power supply. So that's only a 750 watt, and I'd arguably want to go a little bit higher with a 5080.
If you're putting a 5080, yeah. What's the 5080 looking for power draw wise? 400 watts?
Does it say what it's?
I wouldn't
its
trust
TGP is 360. So.
Oh well. Oh no, actually that might be realistic. Yeah. Okay.
So if you would assume 400 absolute maximum on that.
Yeah.
going for an 850 is going to be absolutely fine.
Yeah. So, however, yes, I would be a bit wary about using a 750 with a 5080 in there. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think our total usage is going to be 600-ish. Yeah, roughly, because obviously this is, a packet of chips.
Peaks a lot more. Yeah, the peaks, we're talking about spikes there though, and those are kind of like nanosecond spikes, which isn't really, there was a big old scare about that when the 30 series came out, but that seems to have just died down and not been an issue now.
Yeah, partially because people had lots of bad power supplies, but also partially the fact of the cards were spiking to like 3 times TGP.
Yeah.
And NVIDIA did do a lot to clamp down on that with the 40 and 50 series.
Yeah.
So it might be 100% spike.
Yeah.
So you might be going from 380 to 700. To 760. But you're not going to 1,000.
The bypass caps can soak that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what bypassing is for. This is why after they fix that, this is why the modern high-end ones now have just got all the bypassing on them.
Yeah.
So yeah, the bypass will soak up those peaks, so it's fine.
Yeah. And certainly whilst you shouldn't build your computer on this assumption,
True.
We have absolutely shown cases where we've run CX500s pulling like 600 watts.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it's a case of, sure, you don't build in spec like that, but it's also the case of...
You don't need to build for double your power budget either. That's just... Yeah.
Because it's also the case of you're never going to be at 100% power usage for more than moments unless you're intending to be at that.
Yeah, like I always build on the assumption that that the CPU and the graphics card are pulling their maximum power budgets.
Yeah. Sorry, I meant more from the case of you don't need to be on double to say, I want to be at 50% for peak efficiency.
Yeah.
You're not going to be at 100%. You're going to be at 75.
Yeah. For me, my theory for power consumption is. Let's say you have like the 7500F, that's looking for like 80 or 90 watts, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
If the 5080, if that's budgeted for 360 watts, let's assume it's 400 watts, and let's call the CPU 100 watts. So now we were at 500 watts. So to that extent, on a 7500F, a 750 watt power supply, you're fine, because we're expecting worst case scenario of 500 watts, and we've got 250 watts of overhead here. So in my book, 100% fine. If we went up to a 7800X3D, that's a chip that is probably going to be looking for 120, 130 watts. Let's call it 150. So now we're pushing up a bit higher, and it's like, yeah, okay, when you factor in everything else, it would be cozy to have an 850 watt power supply.
It's also just
even still, we're still building in like a 200 watt overhead here.
Yeah, it's also just all of the other stuff. So it's like the RGB, the fans, a hard drive, etc. You want to make sure that you have that 100 watts, even with all of that other stuff in there. So that's why it's kind of a case of going what seems so high by comparison.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I think that's loosely what your options are. 7500F with a 9070, 7500F with a 9070 XT, 7800X3D with a 9070 XT.
Yeah.
Or
7500F with the 5080.
Which you would say to the person, you're going to need to spend $2,000 and put a 7800X3D in if you really want the 5080.
Yeah.
And you're going to downsell that effectively.
Yeah, and I will do that, because as I say, I don't think the 5080 is a good value proposition right now.
Yeah.
And I take no pleasure in that.
It's a lot better now because it's sub 1,000.
930, that's better.
Yeah, it's sub 1,000.
I thought it was $1,000, so it has become a bit more attractive, but you're still spending, you're still spending £350 over a 9070 XT, which is a hell of a whack. And you're not getting that much more performance. But yeah,
I think it's about 30%.
I think it's 30% on a good day, but
Yeah.
the 5080 just has weird driver overhead issues, and the 5080 seems to struggle to stretch its legs, whereas by comparison, the 9070 XT, rather than randomly not being as good as it should be, the 9070 XT is randomly way better than it should be.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, and
I feel like that's just a better place to be.
Yeah, I think as Si said, I'd very much kind of be looking for a 7800 X3D plus a 9070 XT.
Yeah, I would prefer that combination. I think that's a better balance, because while you can pair a 7500F with a 5080, I do agree that it feels a little bit icky. And I feel like at that point your money is better spent on beefing up the CPU, especially if you're trying to build for the future. Because a 7500F, that's a CPU that you're probably going to want to change out in the computer's lifetime.
Yeah.
Whereas if you put in a 7800 X3D, that computer is set for its lifetime.
Yeah.
Because we know that the X3D chips have been aging incredibly well, because the 5800 X3D is still relevant. The fact that that chip is still relevant kind of shows just how insane the X3Ds really are.
I can't remember what I was looking at, but I was looking...
5070 Ti prices, good question. 5070 Ti?
I was looking at benchmarks for something, comparing, and in the list of CPUs tested, and in there was the 5800 X3D and the Arrow Lake 265K.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess which one was faster?
The 5800 X3D, obviously.
Yes!
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, oh.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. 5070 Ti prices, because the 5070 Ti is
It's a bit faster.
It's a shade faster than a 9070 XT, but I would much rather have.
690. That's not bad.
Wait, for the cheapest 50. Oh, for a 5080. Oh wait, how much is that? Where? For the 5070 Ti? I thought the 5070 Ti was cheaper than that. I thought it was the same price as the 9070 XT.
There you go.
That's terrible, man. What happened? I'm not going insane, am I? The 5070 Ti and the 9070 XT, those trade blows, right?
The 5070 Ti is faster.
Yeah, but are we talking by 10% though?
I don't know, that's why I'm looking it up.
Yeah, or am I thinking that the 5070 vanilla was toe-to-toe with the 9070 XT?
Oh, it's 4%. It's less than 10%.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, like I knew the.
I'm sure Hub's numbers were a little more flattering to a 5070 Ti.
Because I know that the 5070, like this is a huge approximation, this relative performance chart, so we're clear. But yeah, the 5070 Ti is a shade faster and it's going to have better ray tracing. We know that. However, for that price hike and also the fact of ew NVIDIA, I'd take the 9070 XT any day of the week.
Yeah, it's more than 10% and the performance is less than 10%. So even if you called it 10% performance.
Yeah, 10% performance is being generous, and that price gap is not flattering.
Yeah.
It's 90 quid more for a card that is trading blows. So yeah. The only difference is when I did a video recently where I think it was Gex's build that I did, where I was talking about pricing up computers.
Yeah.
And that was the one where I said I would rather take the 9070 XT. And there were people there was someone in the comments who was like, I agree with you, but my workload is very heavily NVIDIA optimized, so it's a 5070 Ti for me. And I was like, you know what, that's a fair response. If your workload...
That is the response that I want people to have.
Yes.
Is that they've actually looked at it.
Exactly. They're speaking because they're looking at workflows and optimizations instead of I say brand loyalty while at the same time saying I don't like NVIDIA, but also I think we are all justified in not liking NVIDIA right now, because NVIDIA, they have been like, I'm not saying that AMD is your friend, but we can all agree that NVIDIA do not care about gamers right now and are not developing with gamers in mind.
The difficulty with that, and the statement I'll make back to that, not because I like it, but simply because it's true. Gamers are too poor. What would you prefer to sell? A GPU for £10,000 or a GPU for £800?
Sure.
when you can sell the same silicon for £10,000, you're going to sell it for £10,000.
Yep.
So I don't like that.
I don't blame NVIDIA.
Yeah.
However, I will still judge them.
Yeah.
You know,
oh yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah. Could I say that I wouldn't do the same thing in their shoes? I don't know about that. However, the fact still remains is that they are not building products for me, which means I have no reason to care about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because I understand them doesn't mean I've got to support them.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. Go Intel. Yeah, possibly. Yep.
I want to build one.
Yeah. Without.
I'm gonna build another part picker list.
What? Do you mean like Intel CPU as well, or just?
Yeah. I'm just gonna price one up now because I thought, why not?
Sure. Yeah.
Because
what's the stream timer on?
2:35.
Sure. Yeah. Let's have a look at.
Because I'm going to speed run this and not provide commentary.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. I think this is always worth doing because here's the prediction: it's going to be more expensive for a worse product. That's what's about to happen. However, we should always double check that that's still the case. We should always double check that nothing has changed there. However, Intel in terms of Battlemage, I'm excited because without your permission, I put the Battlemage B580 into my new LAN box that I'm building up.
No, my graphics cards.
Yep. And next weekend, I'm taking that LAN box to a LAN party.
Oh, did you put the A770 back in
I
here?
did, yes. Because we're not using the horsepower of the B580 at the moment. So I'm like, and I wanted to do a Battlemage challenge. So I put the Battlemage into a LAN box, and next weekend, I'm taking it to a LAN party. Cold turkey, no prep. Let's see if I have any problems with it.
Fair.
Yep, and I'm going to see what happens. I'm going in with a 7500F and the B580, and I'm going to see how it does. And I'm taking my 1440p monitor as well. I'm not going gentle on it. And also, at some point while that system is up and running, I will test its capabilities for everything. So I will test it for video editing, I will test it for VR, and I will test it for video transcode. All of the stuff that I do, and I'm going to find out. I'm going to be like, okay, does any of this trip it up, basically? The performance is going to be what we expect from the B580. But again, it's reliability because when we've been speccing up graphics cards, I'm still not brave enough to put a Battlemage in a computer that I'm selling. And I want to put that to the test and see if I'm wrong.
Where is the gallery?
Why won't this thing go in? There we go. Going through the chat. Right. NVIDIA have engaged in a campaign of milking the grades by deliberately overpricing new stuff on the ground of new tech and stuff. Yeah, it's all a circular mess. Everyone is putting money in each other's pockets. NVIDIA are paying people to buy product from them. And then the people that NVIDIA are being paid by, NVIDIA are investing in the companies that are buying from them. And then those companies invest in NVIDIA in exchange for NVIDIA supplying them, and it's all a hot mess. All a hot mess.
But do you know what it is doing, which is the only thing that matters?
What?
Delivering shareholder value.
That's the only value it's delivering. But yeah.
Where is motherboard size? Oh, it's right there.
The B580 will likely fail your VR test. Yesn't. So yeah, Battlemage still doesn't support VR. However, it does support. Apparently, it does support virtual desktop, which is the pipeline I use for VR. And virtual desktop isn't some obscure niche use of VR. Virtual desktop is that's the pipeline that anyone who is using a Quest should be using. If you have a Quest and you're not using virtual desktop, you're doing it wrong, basically. So if it gives me a good virtual desktop experience, then I can be like, yeah, Battlemage can totally do VR. You have to have a Quest, but that's not unreasonable because Quest is by far and away the most popular VR headset.
Okay.
Will you do a LAN vlog? Probably not, because it's a private LAN at someone's house. There's still going to be like 10 people there. But
do I know the person?
It's KO.
Okay.
Yeah. It's KO LAN. However, yeah, it's a private LAN, so yeah. LAN party, so no stream next week. Yeah, you're correct. No stream next week because I'll be at a LAN party. Friends don't let friends battle mage. Have you tried it? Accusational finger. Raphael, have you tried battle mage?
Fine. We're going for different RAM.
I see. Right, let's get this thing hecking assembled
Because
while
for the
you do
sake
that.
of a $5, we can get some 6400 stuff.
If you're building with
Intel.
Intel, then yeah, you can build for fast RAM. Yep.
Yeah, that
Because
was my
sure,
fault.
why not? Especially if the price is similar. I support you.
I was like, for the sake of a $5.
I got bad vibes here that I've put. I have a horrible feeling that I've taken a broken keyboard out of this chassis and then put it into the same chassis.
What?
Because I haven't been paying attention.
I've got a 5070 Ti. Oh,
We'll find out
that.
after the break.
$9070X.
Oh, I've just done this on complete.
XT.
Oh, I'm scared. I'm scared, Caradog. I might have wasted 2 hours of my life by being on this podcast.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
3000D. Oops. 300D. 3000D. Airflow, RGB, £80. There you go. Power supply.
Yeah, Mike says my 580 limited edition is still in the box. Need to give it a try again at some point. Yeah, I mean, that's it. We've been running Caradog's limited edition in the Stream PC, but we haven't actually done anything with it. Like when the Alchemist card, we took that for a drag race when we got that. We threw a bunch of stuff at it and played with it, and we were like, oh, this is interesting. And then I took it home and streamed on it, and it was really interesting. But yeah, the Battle Mage card, we've been sitting on it since it was released, but we haven't actually done anything with it. So yeah. You did put the first keyboard out of the way. Yeah. Worst case scenario, I've got the broken screen on this one. And that's a quick fix. So yes, you're correct. I did take the broken keyboard and put it over there. Yeah. Right. There's no reason why it should have taken me this long to assemble this laptop. So, has the Earth...
Yes. Ignoring the fact that one of them's got an AIO and one of them doesn't.
Is that necessary?
It's more the fact of, obviously, it's a peak 250 watt chip, average 125. But it's the fact that
that's the cost of Intel. That's part of the cost then, isn't it?
It can burst to 250.
Yeah. If it needs the AIO to deliver the performance, then yeah, that's additional cost then. So sure,
I'm just kind of
yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, I would wager you could stick a silent assassin on there that'll soak up a burst of 250. It won't sustain 250, but it can burst it.
Yeah, you're looking at, in round figures, £1,200 for the AMD 7500F based system.
Yeah.
Or £1,400
for an
for
equivalent.
the 265K based system.
Yeah, so it's another £200 then, and that's because the CPU
is almost
£270.
Yeah, it's almost all in the CPU, effectively.
Yeah, and let's okay, we're buying the AMD chip off of AliExpress, so we're getting cheap prices. But even if we weren't getting the AMD chip from AliExpress, we could still get it for $150, which we said was a terrible price.
Yeah,
but that's still £160 cheaper than the Intel.
Yeah, if you drop down to the 245K...
Sorry, £100 cheaper than the Intel, yeah.
Yeah, if you drop down to the 245K, you can save £70.
Yeah.
So obviously that takes
Do
you
we
to
have numbers on how
13.15.
how does the 245K fare versus, say, a 7600?
I don't know.
Yeah, can we get some numbers on that? Because before I savage the Intel chip and say it's garbage and it's too expensive, let's make sure that we're actually comparing apples to apples here.
Hub Battlefield. Whoops.
I want a decent cheap Core Ultra CPU and B860 board to put the B580 in. That would be cool. Yeah, like there are some really nice Intel motherboards.
GPU,
World's
CPU.
strongest ISOK. Okay.
Okay.
I want some good Intel options, but every time we look at it, it's just not good.
Right. Overkill. That's what we want. Overkill.
Ah! Baby face! What's this baby doing on a plane?
Right. So if I just full screen that for 2 seconds, we have the 265K, which is going to be a hair faster, sitting at 140 average, 116 lows. The 7700 is 141 average, 112.
Yeah, so the 265 is going toe-to-toe with the 7700X then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
To all
then,
intents and purposes. And actually it has better lows on it. So
yeah, and if we swap to high instead of overkill, babyface!
Hang on a sec. Can folks see this? Because we've gone full screen. So, and we were doing window capture. Yeah, leave
If I do
it,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
leave it windowed because I'm not sure if people can see that because we went full screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Anyway.
point. And then on
Right.
high
this?
as opposed to overkill, we're looking at it being 6 FPS difference.
Yeah.
sort
Okay.
of thing.
So in game, the problem is in gaming because CPU almost doesn't matter. You can see here, like the bottom of the graph to the top of the graph is 60 FPS different.
yeah, that's a 7600.
Oh yeah.
The,
Okay.
the
yeah.
graph is actually scaled.
Oh right. Yes. Oh yeah. You
There you
know
go.
what? In
There's the
Battlefield
98.
6. Yeah. Also though, like we're at 1080p high here, so we're heavily skewed towards CPU performance. So that's
because
fine.
it's a CPU benchmark.
Oh yeah. Look. Shush. Okay.
GPU limited CPU testing doesn't tell you anything other than that you're GPU limited.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah, the answer is the 265K is a fraction slower than the 7700.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's about the same speed as the 7500F because the 7500F is slightly slower than the 7700 because it clocks slightly lower.
Yeah. In gaming. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So fair enough then.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
because we're talking about games.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, I'm trying to see if we can find value elsewhere.
The value elsewhere is literally everything but games.
Yeah.
Like if you Photoshop,
Yeah.
the Arrow Lake is faster. If you Premiere, Arrow
Yeah.
Lake is faster.
Yeah. So I think
If you DaVinci Resolve, it's a dead heat.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the interest point here is that once again we've come to the same conclusion that once again Intel is completely irrelevant for gaming.
Yeah.
However, if you're doing productivity like Adobe Creative Cloud, then the Arrow Lake is going to become very relevant and is probably worth considering that £200 extra.
Yeah.
That's probably going to work for you. And also, if you're not gaming, if you're doing productivity, then you might tank the graphics card because you don't need that much horsepower, in which case you can trade GPU for CPU. And you get a nice motherboard along the way because the Intel boards are slightly nicer.
Because, for example, with Steel Legend, you've got all of this USB 3. Oh, and also this is Thunderbolt.
Those black ones in the middle, are those two USB 2s or are they 3s? I think they might, because I got caught out by this recently. I think there might be some USB 2s in there, so double check it.
Possibly, but yeah, they're all
Either way,
all of
they're
this
nice.
USB, and you've also got native Thunderbolt.
Yes.
Sorry, that's just the point I was making.
Yes.
So if you went, I need even more USB, you can get a Thunderbolt dock
Yeah.
and connect it 80 gigabit.
Yeah, Thunderbolt is serious sauce, yeah.
Yeah.
America the Free, thanks for the $50. Thank you guys for having the chat. Yeah, much appreciated, man.
Yeah. So it's a case of just, for me, the value in the Intel platform as well is in the motherboards and the connectivity on the motherboards.
Yeah, and again, if you're into productivity, that might be relevant because that Thunderbolt connection might be good because you might be using a dock and fancy monitors and stuff like that. So it kind of goes hand in hand. Quentin says, if you're serious about productivity, you should be looking at Threadripper. Cool, but now you should double your budget. At least,
Well,
if
yeah,
not triple your budget.
because the 96 then 9060 80, or whatever the hell it is. The cheapest 24-core Threadripper
Yeah.
is £1,200.
Yeah. So, like, you're not wrong. If you want productivity, then yeah, Threadripper. But also, that's assuming that you can afford a Threadripper, and that's a very big if on that. So yeah. Speaking of which, like, are you moving on your Threadripper build?
No, just 'cause there's no stock.
Oh, I see. There's no stock.
And because
yeah.
there's no stock of parts,
Yeah.
I'm not really moving on it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Any feelings on the 9950 X3D? I mean, it's the fastest consumer grade CPU. However, and I think it's probably, if you want the PC that does it all, the consumer PC, so discounting Threadripper, etc. If you want the consumer PC that shreds productivity and shreds gaming, then the 9950 X3D is certainly the answer there.
Yeah.
However, I think it's very uncommon to find someone who actually needs both of those things at that level, in which case it's pretty expensive. But like, how much does a 9950 X3D cost? £600, £700?
£430 if you snipe them on eBay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, but that's sniping on eBay.
But yeah, but it's a case of, in the same way as if you snipe them on AliExpress, 7800 X3Ds on AliExpress.
Still,
that's what I mean.
But if you spotted one at less than £500, that's actually not bad bang for buck.
Yeah. But expected average sale price, I'd be expecting 550.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a great CPU. But again, it's if you've got the budget for it, you know.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's that old case of like, is the faster part better? Well, yeah, obviously it's a faster part, but can you afford it? Is it good bang for buck? Well, yeah. If you need the computer that can do it all, then yes, it may become good value for you. But it's also worth noting that you have to be working at a very high level for that to be important. Like, for example, I make videos for a living. I'm editing 1080p videos, and I do not need a 9950 X3D. I'd love one. It would make my workflow faster, but I don't need it. You know, so yeah. Jojo says, how far are we from AM6? I don't know. However, we also
I would guess about 7 years.
Really?
Would be my guesstimate.
Okay, that's longer than I expected, yeah. Because we know that at least the next generation will definitely be AM5. And it would not surprise, and even if, let's say, where are we now? Zen 5, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Zen 6 is definitely going to be AM5. Scotty Doggy says there's talk of Zen 7 being on AM5. Let's pretend that Zen 6 came out on AM5 and then they announced AM6 and Zen 7. Let's pretend that happened. Based on what happened with AM4, we know that they're still going to bring out a bunch of end-of-life AM5 CPUs. So there'll still be new CPUs for AM5, just, you know, Zen 6 +++ kind of thing. So AM5 is still going to be relevant for quite a number of years yet. So I think the takeaway is, I forgot to put the audio thing in. I think the takeaway is, don't worry about it. AM5 isn't going anywhere in a hurry. And if AM6 is 7 years away, that's a lot.
That's my guesstimate based only on speculation that we're not going to see Zen 6 until the end of next year at the earliest.
Yeah.
Probably CES 2027.
Yeah, Mike reckons 2 to 3 years before it's announced.
Which is 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years for Zen 6 to be actually announced.
Yeah, and then it'll be like another 6 to 10 months before it's actually available from the announcement, won't it? So yeah. Yeah. Rumored AM6 delays, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also, I'm not sure about the answer to this, but like AM5 is still, like, there's no problems with AM5 at the moment, are there? They've got loads of PCI Express, and
the quote-unquote problem with it will be a case of it doesn't support DDR6 when DDR6 becomes consumer ready.
Yeah.
So it's a case of
how long were we
waiting
with
for that.
Yeah.
So it's a case of
how long were we
waiting
with
for that.
DDR4 for? So that was Skylake onwards. Skylake was what, 2015 or 2014? 2014 stuff.
DDR4 was the longest generation
Yeah.
of a single memory standard we've ever had.
Okay, yeah, so it's not necessarily a good thing to be looking
Yeah.
at, yeah. Because I was going to say, yeah, DDR4 had DDR4 was around for basically sort of 7 years before DDR5 came out. But then DDR5 has been around for, about 4 years, I guess, hasn't it? 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then we're not
yeah.
expecting DDR6 to turn up until 2027.
Yeah, because
So it's going to be
I was
at
going to
least
say,
a year, I would say.
yeah, because I was going to say it seems absolutely wild to be talking about DDR6, but then, well, does it?
Interesting. Apparently, DDR6 should give you up to 17,600 mega transfers.
Wild, yeah.
Yeah.
At CL100. Yeah, because that's kind of the annoying thing about DDR5 is that. Oh no, that's not fair. I was about to say the annoying thing about DDR5 is that we're still looking at 10 nanoseconds for first word response, but also I know that that's a gross generalization.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about timings to follow up on that, so ignore that. But yeah.
Oh, interesting. There's the possibility that DDR6 will be CAM2 only.
Surely it has to be. Like they said that we've got problems with DDR5 being dim. So yeah, I can't.
But it could have been a case that it'd be CU DIM only. So there's a clock read driver on the DIM module.
Oh yeah.
Because we've already got CU DIMs for DDR5.
Yes.
So it might have been a case of it's just CU DIM only.
Yeah. Also, I think CAM is good though. CAM seems like a good thing to me.
My only issue with it is there's an issue with the licensing on it, is the fact that it's not a quote unquote standard. It's a licensed design from Dell.
That's
or something.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. It would be really cool if Dell just said, yeah, we invented this, but you don't need to license it. That would be really cool of you, Dell, if you did that, because CAM seems really good to me. I don't see an issue with it. CAM is good for laptops, but CAM can be good for desktops.
CAM's good for desktops because there's less reflection.
Yeah, that's
because there's no actual socket.
Yeah, literally get rid of the 4 DIMM slots and stick a CAM slot in there, and you can put in a 64 gigabyte or 128 gigabyte CAM module.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Yeah.
There isn't one.
Yeah.
It's still removable. Yeah. Bring back Rambus. You shut your mouth. Rambus was never good.
That's just because you were poor.
No. No.
What do you mean you couldn't afford £14,000 modules back in 2006?
Rambus was always bad. It was never good. Oh, I've put the crap battery in this thing.
Oh my god.
It's been such a riveting conversation.
I can't believe you've done this.
It was good until DDR came around. Yeah, and that was 2 days after Rambus, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't super into the scene back then, admittedly, but as far as I'm concerned, DDR and Rambus came out basically the same. Actually, someone looked that up. What's the time difference between Rambus and DDR coming out? Because this is all about Pentium 4 era. When the Pentium 4 came out, there was Pentium 4 DDR and Pentium 4 Rambus. There's not a doubt in my mind that Rambus existed a bit earlier, but when was it actually? When was there use cases of it? Because
I think 2003.
Sure, but that's not a use. Okay, when was the Pentium 4 released? Because there was no Rambus on there was no Rambus on the Pentium 3. So when the Pentium 4 came out, for how long was the Pentium 4 only available with Rambus? That's the question here. Because if you could get the Pentium 4 with DDR a week after it came out or at the same time, then Rambus was never relevant.
Yeah, no, it never was relevant.
There you go.
It never got released in that sense, as it being the only option.
Yeah. So Rambus was never the only option. So okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. In which case, yeah. So Rambus was never relevant then. Yeah.
Yeah, it was relevant only because it was in theory going to offer dramatically higher throughput.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, it was hot, expensive, and bad.
Yeah.
What was the big problem with it? Mainly just price. Rambus was
the price.
It was stupid expensive.
Yeah.
And I if my memory serves me, it runs hot. And was it unreliable, or am I just? Or is that
I think it was unreliable because it was hot.
Yeah, yeah.
And people just weren't used to having to cool their memory modules.
And then DDR came out and was just instantly better in every way. And and just immediately Rambus became irrelevant. But I mean, if Rambus had taken hold, then as a company, I guess also like DDR is also a standard, whereas Rambus is a proprietary system. So it's kind of icky by definition as well, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
All right, I think I've managed to reassemble this laptop.
Excellent.
Praise me, chat. Right, let's see if it actually works.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Did Macs back in the day use anything exotic?
No.
Other than just ECC?
No. Macs, nope, they used they used SD, then they went to DDR. The example of Macs doing exotic things with memory is they did funky things with socketing. For example, the iMac G4, as in the desk lamp iMac, that had a full-length SODIMM slot on the inside. Sorry, that had a full-length SD slot on the inside and a SODIMM as the expansion. So it took full-length memory on the inside and laptop memory as the expansion, which is kind of weird, but okay. Then the only other really exotic thing, the G5 uses... I think the G5 uses fully buffered DIMMs, which is obviously an exotic type of memory. No, the G5 didn't exclusively use that. The Power Mac G5 used fully buffered DIMMs, I think.
Oh, right, okay.
I can't. One of them did. Yeah. However, they never used anything proprietary.
Yeah.
They used some. Some of their workstations used workstation RAM, but that's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
So yeah, only took 5 business days to assemble this laptop. Yeah. Sorry, folks. It's a good thing that you started speccing the computer halfway. That's also probably what slowed me down, but whatever. Right. But will it blend? Will it turn on? It is posting. Right, so basically I need to boot this thing up and see if the letter 5 works, and also if it has a liquid damaged screen, which means I used the wrong screen. And by the number 5 I mean the number... Did I say the letter 5?
No.
Did I say the number 3?
No.
What did I just say?
The number 5.
Okay. I meant the number 3. Specs of the Dell laptop. It's an i7 something. 11th gen i7.
11G639.
We need a huzzah. Rambus shares are trading at around $106. What do they do?
Something with licensing for something was what I saw there, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
Rambus
like at $106, clearly they're doing something.
Memory interface chip, security IP, and interface IP.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh. Interesting. They're doing something with CXL.
What's CXL? Something about data centers I'm seeing. But
yeah, CXL is Compute Express Link, which is a interface that operates on top of the PCI Express standard.
Okay, yeah. So that's why they're relevant then. Yeah.
They don't, as far as I'm aware, they don't make CXL. They're just doing something on CXL.
Yeah, but they have products.
Yeah.
Then that's the important thing, is that they are making products that are being used in enterprise and data center space.
They have stuff that does things.
Yeah.
They're actually doing stuff.
Hello, Pianov. Pianov says Mac Pro 2008 uses fully buffered DIMM. That was the one that I was thinking of. Yeah. Company's worth 11 billion. Yeah, they're still relevant then. Yeah, which is interesting.
Well,
okay. I mean, if you're worth 11 billion, you're doing something.
yeah.
You know.
I guess it's just a case of it's kind of like, sure.
The laptop is a Latitude 7420, which is the current reconditioned one that I buy and sell. Rambus licensed XDR RAM used in PS3. Interesting.
For all those lucrative PS3 sales.
Oh, yeah. God. Well, at least someone profited on the PS3, because Sony sure as hell didn't. We're on Facecam, right?
Probably. Definitely.
Yeah, cool.
The keyboard does not work.
The keyboard does not work. Did I plug in the keyboard? Shut down.
Interesting.
I might have forgotten to plug in the keyboard.
AMD's market cap is approximately 100 times that of Rambus.
Sure, but that's that's
No, but it's interesting
I
that it's
hope so.
only that multiple. Given that people know who AMD are, people don't know who Rambus are.
true.
I'm just intrigued. I'm slightly surprised.
Yeah, AMD are.
Surprisingly small.
I was about to say AMD are undervalued considering their current market position.
Half and half, yeah. Like they are valued at 144.84 times earnings. That's a lot.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say I don't know investment stuff very well, so I don't know what quantifiers people tend to use. So yeah, I suppose valuation versus revenue is obviously a good way of checking if their valuation makes sense.
That's a lot. That's a lot. But then there's Intel at 872.71 times earnings.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what happens when your earnings are
nothing.
Six M&Ms.
Yeah. God, Intel is highly speculative right now, isn't it? Because if it weren't for such extraordinary circumstances, they would just be nothing, you know.
They are.
But Intel is such a unique. Yeah, I didn't plug the keyboard in because I'm a genius. Intel are in such a unique position right now.
Because they are so large.
Yeah.
Because they were in so many pies.
Yeah.
They continue to exist.
This is what too big to fail looks like, isn't it? Because of how big they have been, and also because of how irreplaceable they functionally are from like US strategic perspectives and things like that. It's a case, you know, like from the US government's perspective, they can't let Intel die.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna drag them. If they have to just tie a noose around their neck and drag them behind the car, they will do so because they can't let Intel die.
Yeah.
So just, ugh.
Yeah.
AMD had a lucky break with AM4 and AM5. Other than that, they've underperformed in general historically. No. AMD have had their downturn. AMD had a very rough patch through the bulldozer era. However, they have had eras of being competitive and better than Intel at previous times.
What were the actual K6 CPUs? Those ones, I can't remember what the actual market name was for them. But AMD
Can't
was
remember.
utterly dominant with them.
Yeah.
Everyone who wanted a computer wanted one of them.
Yeah. Also, like Phenom 2 was good.
Yeah.
You know, Phenom 2 was really good. It was Bulldozer, a la the AMD FX series. That's when it all went wrong.
Yeah.
Because at that point, AMD stopped advancing and Intel kept progressing. So, yeah, like, it's not fair to say that AMD got a lucky break with AM4 because, number one, it wasn't lucky, they dug deep. They walked away and they said, right, we need to go away and reinvent ourselves.
It was solidly the case of either this works or we have no jobs.
Yeah, they went back and reinvented themselves. And I don't think it's fair to call that lucky. Personally, I would call that grit and determination to come back from a position like that.
They were certainly very lucky that they got the CEO that they did at the time they did.
Yeah.
Because I think, because again, you'll hear it through a lot of interviews of kind of the way that the attitude was kind of guided from the top into being, we can survive and we can be good.
I mean, I guess if you're someone like Lisa Su, who is clearly brilliant, why would you go to AMD?
Yeah.
You know, when you could have gone to Intel, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you can say that there are luck in certain places, but yeah. I don't know. I think AMD have earned their current position, in my opinion.
And certainly with the fact of, again, as much as we possibly don't like AI.
Yes, I've put screws in the wrong places. Sorry. Continue. Yeah.
The cadence of release and improvement in compute for MI200, MI250, MI300, MI350, MI350X, MI400.
Yeah.
The fact that they've gone from a 3-yearly cadence to a 2-yearly cadence to an 18-month cadence to aiming for a 12-month cadence, whilst each time being like, hi, yes, we're going to bring 20% performance improvements. And actually nailing that for 200, 250, 300, 350,
See, that's
350X.
That's impressive on a technical perspective, but the issue is no one's buying it, or no one's using it.
Sure, but the fact that they have executed like that
But then
is entirely the way they
won
won server CPU, because they executed
Yeah, it
and then executed and then executed.
In order to become dominant, you have to have a competitive product. And like, even if no one's buying it at the moment, the fact that they have the competitive product means that they are capable of competing.
Yeah.
So that is laudable, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah. I remember thinking that your FX 6100 was the nuts. Yeah, real. I owned an FX 6000 and an FX 8000. So yeah, I know that pain. I was I was breathing that copium for a number of years myself.
And then, you know, several years later you upgraded to things like USB 3 integrated controllers and PCI Express 3.
Sobbing, yeah. Yep. Yeah, waits for character. Who is Lisa Su? Yeah. Well, I still... Okay, look. I still think that it was not unreasonable for me to be able to quote CEOs off the top of my head. You know, I don't think that's unreasonable. Like there are plenty of big companies at the moment where if you say who's the CEO of, like, ask an average enthusiast what's the name of the current Intel CEO. You know, big challenge there. AMD at the time when I asked the question who is Lisa Su, AMD were not relevant yet. They were very close. They were literally the wave was cresting, but they hadn't the wave had not yet broken and smashed down upon Intel. So yeah, I will still vindicate myself and be like, no, I do not. I'm not in the habit of memorizing CEOs. So yeah. They're still not capable of competing against CUDA, and that's a big part of why they're failing on the GPU compute market. Yeah, I think it's partly just there's the issue of performance, but there's also the issue of support. Is that no one is writing No one is optimizing for AMD. No one is bothering to get their stuff working on AMD. So they need to have the competitive product, but also people need to be buying it and wanting it to work. What?
Sorry. Sai saying Martin Brundle did a worse job of not knowing her. Do you speak English?
I see.
Oh, look at that. The keyboard works.
Wow.
A1, B2.
The number 3 isn't working.
Okay. So the part where I said the board was liquid damaged.
Are we implying that it's not the keyboard?
Well, if you've swapped the keyboard with a known working keyboard, yes, it is not the keyboard.
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking, did I swap the keyboards? I've just not been paying. Yeah, I will. Yeah, it's a job for Tuesday now. What I will do is I will speedrun swapping things around again, because basically what's going to happen next is I will just swap everything around to the original crap-ass laptop that the guy on eBay sold to me, and at the same time that will give me the opportunity to just double check my work, basically. However, it looks like I have swapped to a known good keyboard and the number 3 still does not work, in which case it has to be a keyboard controller issue. And in that, the controller probably has crud on it, maybe. So yeah, plug in a USB one. That will work. Plugging in a USB one will work because A, I've already tried it, and B, that uses a different controller, so it's not even a fair test. It's not a software issue though, is the important thing. So yeah.
Now time to try and find another 10 of them that are actually in half decent quality.
Yeah, I've got people queuing up around the block to buy these, but it's hard. There's not a lot of good ones available right now. Yeah, as Sai will attest to. Just the second.
Are any of the 10th gen ones?
They're around, but just the value isn't great because the 7410, which is the 10th gen one, it's about the same price as the 7420. So it's kind of like, yeah, there's some kicking around, but like, I'd rather pay the same amount and have an 11th gen CPU instead of a 10th gen CPU. So yeah, and while there are some around, they are rarer. Yeah.
Can you also get the bigger ones?
I think again, Sai can double check on this, but I'm 99% certain that all the 15-inch ones are crap, because I think they're all the silver ones, which means when it shows up, it will look like it's been through a blender. Because in their infinite wisdom, for some reason or other, the silver latitudes are all painted in like Halford's brand silver spray paint that chips off if you give it a hard look. So yeah. Any 54 series too old. Yeah. So yeah.
I guess it'll be seeing how much the 7430s are at some point soon, because they'll be 3 years old this year. Yeah,
maybe.
This year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well. Okay, I'll check it on Tuesday. We are past the 3-hour marker, so I think we're about to wrap up. Caradog's having a quick look just out of curiosity. There's now 7,000 ones, but in 15, but super rare, super expensive. Yeah. Oh, what's that? What's that 217 one? Oh, 203 as well. Yes,
that's a 14-inch grade C.
Yeah, I mean, grade C is what we're expecting here. Some marks on the body and stuff like that.
Yeah.
16 gigs of RAM, 256.
I couldn't process that and read that as a Core i2 15th gen.
I see, yeah.
Twice. I was like, what is this?
i5 12th gen, 16 gigs of RAM, And it's how much? And yeah, that was about £206. That's not bad.
Yeah, 14-inch, and apparently a 93 capacity battery, whatever that means.
If true, then that means it doesn't need a new battery, in which case £200 is a fair price. However,
14-inch grade B.
Yeah, that's 220, and then with like 220, 240, so they're almost there. Yeah, like
216.
in my opinion, as soon as they drop below 200, that's when I would start considering them. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of as an idea. Yeah, they're getting there.
Yeah, almost there.
Yeah, 220 stone refurb.
Yeah. And like 220, if it doesn't need a battery, I buy it at 220. But at that point, you have to be certain that there's not, like, that one's missing a key, so that's an automatic no.
Womp.
Yeah, womp womp indeed. Like, yeah, 200 to 220, assuming there's nothing wrong with it, would be doable. However, I would like it to be sub 200 to it. Yeah, batteries are 15 quid though. Yeah, that's true. But like, if it's 220, because like, remember, I'm aiming to sell at 300. So 220, and it needs a battery. So that's 235. That's eating heavily into the profit margin now.
Yeah. Although with it being a generation newer. Putting £20 on the price to account for the £20 increase in the price,
and that would be reasonable. But also the thing is, I'm aiming for a £300 sale price because that's what people want to pay. Like, if we're talking about buying good laptops, sure, you know, it's worth X amount. But if
no. I was just saying, you know.
Yeah, I am aiming to sell at 300, and I want to get the best laptop I can that hits that mark. Yeah. If the laptop is worth £400, I'm sure it's worth £400, but I'm not interested in a laptop that sells for £400 because my customers don't want to pay £400. My customers want to pay £300. So,
but I think it's a case of, if you don't have ones that you can sell at 300, your option is to turn around and say, I've got ones that sell for 330.
Yeah, I guess 330 is, that's doable. Yeah. However, the problem is that if you said 400, the customer is going to turn around and go, cool, I'm going to Curry's to buy a brand new one for 400 then. That's what the answer will be.
Yeah.
So, and you know, maybe that's reasonable, maybe it's not, but either way, I lost the sale.
But it's also the case of, if you have no supply, if you have no stock, and you can turn around and go, we haven't got any 300s, but we've got got a 330 and a 400.
Yeah.
And they go, okay, I'll take the 400 because you've got stock.
Yeah, it's also worth considering that if all of the remaining 7420s are crap, then I don't want to buy them anymore. And in which case, like you say, it's a stock issue. If I can't get a £300 laptop and a 350 laptop is the only option, then that's the better option because I can actually get it and I don't end up with crap laptops.
Yeah.
So that's reasonable to
that extent. It's kind of a case of, I think finding as many of these as you can, yes, but also going to people, I have a 330 one in stock and I have a £450 one in stock, and just
also
having,
especially if you're hitting the 3 years old mark, then that becomes reasonable as well, because the problem is that the 7420 now, these are manufacture year 2021.
Yeah.
And like, they're fine, they're great laptops.
Yeah.
But 4 years old, that sounds an awful lot like mid-life cycle now. Yeah. Whereas when you say it's 3 years old, that's just out of warranty.
Yeah.
You know, that's just out of the manufacturer's warranty. It's barely used, you know. Whereas 4 years old, that's kind of close to 4 or 5 years old, which is mid-life cycle.
Yeah.
And, well, it's already halfway dead already, you know.
Yeah.
So, round the block, Graham said,
Yeah. Shall we wrap up?
Yes.
Shall we say goodbye?
We absolutely should.
Shall we say goodnight?
Yes.
Cheery bye.
Yes.
And what?
Thanks for being here. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for the super chats. Shout out again to America the Free. Eagle sounds for the super chat. See you all next time, which will not be next week because I'll be at a LAN party. So see you in 2 weeks with something else. Also, if you're invested in the CSGO knife scene, it sucks to be you. Bye!